Be like,
Wait, do you still have
gonna.
that clip of me saying that race was good?
I think so.
Yeah.
We
I
ended an
think
episode with
I
that.
can't.
So, yeah.
I can't remember. I think that was when I was like, "Shut the fuck up, Shiraj," and just cut the episode off. Welcome in, everybody, to episode 16 of the Blurred Podcast. We are back today.
16.
Surprisingly, we are back. We got a comment on the last episode that I posted, and they said, "I thought this podcast was done with," and I said, "Me too," but they keep forcing me to come back. So I don't
Better
know what's
believe
up with that, but anyway, Dex, Hegmo, Shiraj, welcome
I was
back.
just gonna say, when was the last time that all four of us were on?
That's classified.
Because it feels like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. I really have no idea, to be honest.
Can somebody who watches the podcast comment down below which episode was the last one that we were all here? Because this is like a pretty monumental moment, I feel like.
Yeah, the
given
whole
recent
gang,
developments.
whole gang's back
Yeah.
together.
Well, this is our Sweet 16. I've got my pajamas.
Mhm.
I've got, cute little outfits on. We're gonna have a great time.
Absolutely.
Take it to Epstein Island.
Whoa! All right, we'll cut it there. Anyway,
And then we remembered why sometimes Shiraj isn't allowed to come.
All right, let me go down the list here. Dex, how you been, buddy? I haven't spoken to you for a week or two now. How you been doing? How's life in the game? How's life outside of the game?
I'm big, good, doing well, big chilling.
Mhm.
I met the myth, the man, the legend, Mr. Hegma last weekend.
Hell yeah.
It's true.
So your days are numbered, buddy.
Yeah, I heard Hegmo's actually taller than you. What's up with that?
Hegma is enormous.
Whoa. That's great.
I mean, more ways than one, right?
What Jesus Christ. What'd you guys do? What shenanigans did you get up to?
Hung out in the city.
Yeah.
Lunch.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we're just chilling. I got up to go to the airport at like 4:30 a.m. And then left my house at 5 and then directly to New York City. And like 15 minutes later, Dex and I were meeting up. So like I wasn't like 100% in terms of like my willingness to do fun activities, but we basically did what I do whenever I go anywhere, and that's just like bounce between places to eat and drink things.
Oh, hell yeah. That's dope.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, if there's one thing that we love, it's consuming random things. For sure. Any other exciting news?
But he's fucking swole.
Okay. We'll have to check it out. Any other exciting news on your end, Hegma?
On my end, there's lots of exciting news, but it's mostly stuff I won't go into right now, but we'll talk about it later at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure. Hegma's always got like several things going on. What's the phrase? Pans on the fire? Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the actual phrase, but Shiraj, how have you been, buddy? This is the first time we've recorded since you've been back in the UK, I think. At least that I've been here for.
Yes.
Oh, true.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just been hanging out, getting back into the floor things.
You
know how it goes.
That's awesome. How's Shiva been treating you?
It's been fun. It's been a nice server. It's been a nice change of atmosphere. I like it.
That's dope, man.
I can attest that Shiraj has been waking up at human hours. It's kind of weird.
Oh, dang. He's not staying up until 7 a.m. to do sortie with you guys?
I mean, I've been awake since 5
days. It's crazy.
I've been awake since 5 a.m. It is 8:20 p.m. right now.
Oh my gosh.
What kind of hell is that? You're not used to that, right?
Bro, it's terrible.
Shiraj, did you get a job? Is that what's... I
Whoa,
hope
whoa,
not.
whoa.
Yeah, let's not jump to conclusions here. But
only as a stripper, if that counts.
Oh, it counts.
Wait, you wake up to go to the strip club at 5 a.m.? Are you working the like morning shift or like what?
Yeah, I'm working the morning shift with some unruly customers.
He's getting the construction workers on their way in.
Yeah.
The reason why they're
Yeah.
unruly is because they've been there all night and they haven't left.
Mm.
Oh no. Well, I'm glad you guys are doing well. I've been having a lot of stuff in real life, hence I haven't been as active. But also on the game front, we started a new sortie static like 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I've been really enjoying it. It's been cool. I found 5 people that I actually really enjoy being around, so I decided, you know what, I don't mind playing with you guys for 4 or 5 nights a week, and it's been a good time. We've been consistently doing like 9 boss plus Nox and a bunch of other objectives, so it's been pretty cool, pretty fun.
Wait,
Nice.
you like pineapple?
Well, I don't want to, I don't want to go too deep into the pineapple lore.
But you want to go deep in
But
Pineapple's mother.
whoa, whoa, whoa! You said that, not me. I only say that in private. Um, but yeah, no, Pineapple's a good guy. I like him because he balances out the group. So we have like 5 really good players, and then Pineapple shows up super high, and then he's like, "Hey guys, which way are we going again?" And we're like, "Pineapple, the same direction we've been going for the last 3 weeks." But it's great. He's been doing good. He's been actively working on upping his Geomancer, and it's been pretty fun to be a part of.
Well,
Oh,
go
yeah,
figure,
nice.
right? If you get a group of 5 friends that you actually enjoy playing with, you'll enjoy the content you're doing.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
It, it's really weird how like playing an online game with other people can be, yeah, I don't know, engaging and fun and
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
never
how
would
fun
have
it is
believed
getting
it
up.
personally.
yeah.
But
We're only allowed to complain.
yeah, this is the first static I've done since I cleared V25s, and it's been quite a while since that's happened now, so it's been fun. But I think we should go ahead and jump into the emails. Sound good to you guys?
Sure.
Sure,
Cool.
Sure.
Dex, do you have them up or do you want me to read?
of course I do. You want to
Perfect.
read it?
No,
Whoa.
no, I don't. I never want to do anything. It's all you, buddy.
um, so we're reading an email from over a month ago. Let's
Mhm.
put that into context.
Yeah, I feel
They've
bad.
they've unsubscribed from the YouTube channel by now, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah, they're like, I'm never sending these guys an email again. It took this long.
All right, so this one's from Zephy. Hello, Myth-san, Dex-san, Shiraj-san, and Hegmo-san. I'm a Japanese player from the Quetzalcoatl server, or the Ass server, as the Japanese players call it. That's new lore for me.
Yeah, it is.
I love that. I
Quet-
love that anecdote.
Quetz is spelled as Ketsu, which means ass in Japanese.
I had no idea. It's crazy.
Quick biography. I started in 2007, taking multiple breaks. I came back to the game recently after a 2-year break. I'm a farmer on the island of Yakushima, and your podcasts are my favorite listen while I work. I cannot express how valuable it is, how you guys shine light on many misconceptions players like myself had. As a samurai main, I had the misconception that I had to be an asset to my party. I had to gear it to the highest damage possible. It is not that I neglected defense like DT minus 50 and Mava. However, I used Valorous Mitts, which have 10 Zanshin and only 32 Mava. I thought prioritizing DPS would just justify sacrificing one piece of low defense. So, like, I'm not sure if he meant to be funny there, but that was definitely funny.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have friends who don't hold back on giving advice. We went over the gear and switched to Wakido plus 4 hands and made up the Lost Zanshin with the Wakido and the Takaha mantle, the one that gives Zanshin's to TP. That's
Mhm.
the a dueling one, right?
Oh, nice.
I believe the
Their
roof club, yeah.
information was easy to digest because I'd listened to your podcast and had a better understanding of the importance of survivability. So I think he's replying right after we talked about all those gear sets.
Mhm.
Nice.
I'm lucky to have friends like that. However, in my social link shell, the difficulty of giving advice seems to be a common theme. I often see veteran players who want to give advice to new players. However, they're afraid they might offend them, so they hold back. As a result, the player keeps making the same mistakes and never improves. Maybe it's become maybe we have become more quotes considerate over the years. Another reason I hear veteran players are reluctant to give advice is that they see some players' unwillingness to grow, or so they just don't bother. I try to counter this by appealing to my willingness, welcoming advice, and asking questions AMAP. As you guys would agree, people are more than happy to talk about their favorite jobs. It could be a cultural thing. The Japanese are more considerate. Also, Quetzalcoatl is very small, actively only 400 to 600 players. So I'm curious, do you guys have similar experiences? How do you decide whether or not to give advice? It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts.
Mm. Yeah, let's answer that before we move on to the next section, because I think
There's a little bit
that's a
more,
good
yeah.
question. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about people that may be afraid to give advice or to like go out of their way to actively like put themselves out there to help people?
I think when people are in your team and they're actively doing things incorrectly, despite like, you might be roundabout
Hmm.
saying they need to fix the behavior, but you're not directly saying it, like you're being very passive.
Hmm.
If they're continuing to make these mistakes and they're not taking the initiative to address things on their own or like do research or any adjustments on the back end, like off time, then they need to have a talk. And
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't think it is necessarily you being rude or insulting them or not playing to their sensibilities. Like I think you can approach that topic with sincerity and willingness to like work with people to try to get them to improve. Because at the end of the day, like we all play this game a lot,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing activities like that, and then you wanna get better at the game. That's what the point is, right? Like so, I don't think there's like hostility there that may be perceived by some, but like
Right.
it's all
I
about how
mean,
you approach it.
yeah. I think that like when you look at it like from a static perspective, it's like a slightly different relationship
Hmm.
where one second. Sorry, I was getting a text speech. I couldn't think at the same time. When you're looking at like a static perspective, that's like a six man. It's slightly different, especially when you're doing something like Sortie or Odyssey bosses or something like that, because
Right.
the group is very dependent on everybody's individual performance. And so I think it's a little bit easier to be very direct and say like, "Hey, man, like
Hmm.
you can't keep making darkness chains on Gartel, or darkness chains on Dartok or whatever." Um, that's a little bit easier. But I think where I suffer from this, like the difficulty of giving advice,
Hmm.
is at like the link shell level, or even like at the stream level, where like people come in and they're like, "Oh, I'm really excited about playing the game, and like I just got back into it, and I can't wait to play Thief again." And I'm like, I like like you want to be honest with them and be like, just temper your expectations about how this job works or how your performance is going to be here, but also you don't like I don't want to scare them off. I'm like I want them
Right.
to enjoy playing the game, and I want them to like maybe learn those things at their own pace. Um, but at the same time, like telling somebody like they're not doing something right or they're not performing, and balancing that level of like you should be striving to improve, but at the same time like not accepting that there are some things in the game that maybe just enjoy and have fun playing it.
For better or worse, everybody in this world, let alone the game we play, is different and will receive criticism differently. Like some will use it in a positive way and some will take it in a negative way. So
Hmm.
I think what Zephy's been doing in maybe not addressing it directly, but roundabout like talking about what's been going wrong and then giving them the opportunity to identify it themselves is the appropriate first
Yeah.
like approach.
Yeah, I think if you're having a conversation with someone like in game, I don't think it can hurt to preface things by like asking if someone is either seeking or willing to accept help or advice. I think that's just a thing that is in communication in general that can be difficult for people to do. Um, like whether that's in game or in real life. Sometimes like going out of your way to be like, hey, do you have space for this right now, or do you just want to go through and express your frustration? Because there's two different things there, right? Some people just want to vent, and some people are actively working for um, to better themselves. So asking which one that is never a bad idea.
I like that.
I know from my perspective when I give advice, because I mean I put out several guides at this point for like playstyle and strategy stuff.
Check out the new sortie
Shiraj,
guide.
yeah, check out the new sortie guide. Shiraj is, I'm sure, can also comment on this, but a part of it is being aware of the community that we're in and knowing that there are going to be people that negatively critique you, even if you come in with the best intentions. Um, and really, the only way to continue doing service to the community is being okay with that and just like not allowing people to more or less just bully you into submission, because there are going to be people that accuse you of like being an idiot or whatever it is, if even if you're like just honestly trying
How
to
did they
help.
know?
Yeah, yeah. And my thing is like I can even give a very recent specific example where during our most recent Limbus run decks, somebody called me an asshole because I DIA'd a mob they were trying to solo. And the reason that doesn't bother me and I was a jerk back to that person is because I know that they're likely not as good as they think they are. And knowing that like I'm a human and they're also a human, like it doesn't really matter that much at the end of the day. Just kind
I
of
think too,
go
like,
into it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
I think that one thing, like, there's two things that come to mind in like talking about critique and like helping people improve is that like one, it's always helpful when people are constructive with criticism.
Hmm.
Like I think that like when you just go around telling people they're trash, like that doesn't
Right,
help. You know
right.
what I mean? Like, but if somebody is like, "Hey, have you tried swapping out this piece of gear for that piece of gear?"
Hmm.
Like you should be open to it. So I think there's like an openness to receive feedback,
Hmm.
and there's also like a reminder to be constructive in your feedback and not just try to tear people down.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing is like, just going back to like I used to teach art in like to a degree, a lot of things are like subjective in critique. You know what I mean? Like when you're talking about something that somebody else is doing. And so like a lot of times you might get feedback from people and it's also your prerogative to just totally ignore them. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
oh, cool.
exactly.
Thanks for that advice. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
so,
taking notes, Sensei.
yeah.
See, I'm the level of petty in the 11 community that if like people are just trying to be a dick, I just be a bigger dick because
Mm,
people are old enough to know better at that point. So that's just my perspective. I generally try to start conversations in good faith, but if somebody steers them into a place that is not good faith, I don't think that's your fault for
yeah.
trying to meaningfully contribute.
Do you have
Do,
anything to add, Shraj?
Yeah. I'm quite bad at telling when it's a good time to give advice. I can't lie.
well, that's just because you were circumcised as a child and filled with Tylenol. but, but that's a different topic, right?
You
Bruh.
can't control that.
That's
I'm just
crazy.
I'm just really hoping that like our emailer, I just imagine that they are proficient enough in English to be like following along and like looking up a few words here and there, and they just Googled like circumcised Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, what does that have to do with
The first thing that pops up is
Yeah.
America's healthcare system. And oh no.
I don't know, like, the nuances of Japanese speaking, but I presume that the degree of ribbing and, like, sarcasm is not nearly as high as in English.
I would hope
Mhm.
so, but at the same time, like I don't know the Japanese community well enough to assume that that might be the case, because you never know. Like I believe that the culture is in general more respectful to people, but at the same
That's what I was
time,
getting at.
yeah, but at the same time, like you have a bunch of people that play Final Fantasy 11, so
Yeah.
you don't know, right? Uh,
True.
so I
So let's
think
wrap up the email.
yeah.
Back to what Zephy was saying. Lastly, I was invited to a static whose final goal was to beat all the master trials. Good luck.
Mhm.
This was a big surprise because my gear and skill is nowhere near of that level. only only Prime is stage 4 Kusanagi, Odyssey gear rank 20. So he's got some growing to do before
Yeah,
he gets to the final
but
2.
also, like, in the top X percentile, probably more gear than a
Yeah.
lot of people are.
But by
Yeah.
no means not a bad player.
No, absolutely not. That's
I would say,
Kusanagi's
like,
great.
with that gear alone, he could do Crystal Paradise.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Maybe not a samurai for that role specifically, but in general. Um, I guess they saw some potential and gave me the benefit of the doubt, which I must give credit to this podcast for making me more flexible. They lost a member recently, and I was in the right place at the right time. We are currently working on Odyssey V25s and Mesos and Sortie. This is a big change of scenery for me, and it's very exciting. So thanks, guys. I mean, he's giving us a lot of credit for him just like
Yeah. I'd
not
like to
like,
point out that like we have earned none of this. So
correct.
it's all
Oh,
you. Like everything that you've done to progress yourself as far as you have, Zephy, it's all you, and good on you for enjoying the game as much as you can.
And then he follows up with a final section that says, "Quick question to Shiraj. Our Link Show leader brought up your name. Do you know the Tarotaro 0x0?
I
Do
do,
you?
yes. I do,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
How do you know him?
Um, so I'm on Twitter quite a lot, or X, as
Mhm.
as some call it, for Final
It's
Fantasy
Twitter.
stuff. And
Okay.
I follow a lot of Japanese Final Fantasy 11 players.
Mm.
And I stumbled across Zero Zero's Twitter. Um, a lot, I think it was during Crystal Paradise.
Mhm.
After we posted the strategy for Crystal Paradise, um, I noticed he posted a clear of him doing Crystal Paradise. And then, occasionally I'd see him post, and then I seen him posting stuff for August, in
Right.
Oathsworn Blade. And I was keeping up with his progression in
Mhm.
August. And when pretty much every single group across all servers came to a standstill and nobody could progress any further,
Mhm.
I was reaching out to people, I was asking to team up, anyone want to share information? And every single group pretty much either ignored me or blocked me because they didn't want to
Hmm.
team up.
Yeah.
And the only person that did want to team up was Zero Zero. And so we were sharing some information in DMs,
Mhm.
and it was pretty good. It was pretty helpful. Um, I'm unsure where he is now in progression because I think they took a break, but
Mm.
I believe he will clear it at some point soon.
Well, that's awesome. Now that
Yeah.
Bahamut is locked down similarly to Azura, I'm glad that they have a good like wide margin of players over there. Everybody from newer people that would be starting over here to people that are doing August Master Trials. It's pretty dope.
Do you know if 00 has beaten August yet, or is Zephy
Um,
joining that
I
group to do August?
I believe he's joining the group to do August. As
Hmm.
far as I know, there's still only three groups across all servers that have cleared it.
It was yours, and then
It was Zola, I
My
assume.
my
Zola
group,
Zola
yeah.
discovered the bug exploit thingo that lets you do 3 Corsairs, and then I think Zen's group copied Zola's strategy.
So there was my group on Azora, Then there was Zola's group on Odin, and then Zola's group coached a Japanese group on Ragnarok.
That's cool.
Cool.
That was in August?
Yes,
No, in
few,
July.
few,
July.
few months ago, yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway, Zephy said, I told him, actually, I listen to you every week, and he explained his high respect for your accomplishment. He's been set back by falling into a loop of training new members and then having them quit the game. Ouch.
Yeah.
Anyway, he sends his regards. We have some catching up to do, but we're coming for you guys. Smiley face.
Hell yeah.
Thanks again for the awesome show. Call me if you're in Yakushima. It's the island from the anime Princess Mononoke, Zephy.
If
That's awesome.
Zephy beats Shirage's group to the Wings of War clear, I
That'd be
will.
hard.
I don't know exactly how I would reward him, but I would find a way. I would find a way to like monetarily reward him, or maybe bring him on the podcast. Do our first international, well, not counting
There you
Shiraj,
go.
our first international guest. It'd be great.
Shiraj
That'd
would
be
go to Yakushima and be like, I'm here to visit, and just push him into the dirt.
We'll learn. Well, I'll make everybody learn Japanese for the video.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
My favorite thing, I just like it's always super exciting and kind of humbling, like creating content. You know, like I'm making videos or streaming or doing this podcast or whatever. When something like this comes up, because I like the first time that I really felt this way was when I first shared the Let's Go Hegmo theme song. And somebody who followed me was like, "Oh man, sorry, I didn't see you post this, but I'm hiking in Yosemite right now, and I just listened to it, and I'm like just picturing this person blaring 'Let's Go Hegmo,' like from the natural splendor of
Right.
a national park,
Sure.
and it's the same kind of feeling where it's like, you know, our caller is listening to us as he's doing his job, on farmland in Japan. And it's just like, this it's like a
Just out there
totally different
harvesting crops, looking at
perspective
the yap
than what
about
yeah.
all things.
Yeah. And like it puts it in perspective of like people can hear me talk spew whatever, nonsense I'm spewing all around the world and in
Yeah.
all these different yeah, it's great.
We could just make stuff up completely, and there's a chance no one would ever know.
You mean continue to? Because
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I always imagined like the sortie guide that I put out yesterday. I was just imagined people like sitting down in the bathroom watching it. Nothing as
Yeah.
splendid
Oh yeah,
as
yeah.
as like
Yeah.
hiking Yosemite, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is like bathroom appropriate content, I think.
Yeah.
But Hegmo's got a little bit better production quality, so maybe that deserves the nice hikes and stuff like that. I do
Well,
want to
Zephyr,
point out.
I want to thank him
Yeah,
for the response. It was probably the most wholesome email we've gotten, and I don't know why he attributes us to his success in growing as a player, but thank you for that.
yeah, I wouldn't, but that's just me. Like, I think he's great. He did say on his sign off that he said he's in an island that is the island of the princess, or the anime Princess Mononoke, and that is my absolute favorite, probably my favorite movie of all time, if not just my favorite Ghibli movie.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah, fucking love that movie. Ready for the next email? We got two more that we're gonna bang out. These ones are much shorter.
Into Alea?
Yeah, let's do it.
From Alea from Ashura. The big question I think everyone is dying to know. How do you put on your socks and shoes? Is it A, sock, shoe, or B, sock, shoe? Personally, I am sock, shoe. Psycho. But I will say I am willing to try different rotation if it gets me more FPS, foot per second in sock and shoe. Also, what's the hardest Odyssey boss in your opinion? We are currently climbing for the first time and having a blast. Great podcast for returning players, by the way.
That's funny. Oh man.
Let me segue from this. Like, this kind of topic reminds me of the stupid question, like, do you pour the cereal in and then the milk, or the
Oh yeah,
milk and then the
yeah,
cereal?
definitely. Yeah,
Um,
you don't feel naked with one shoe on and the other foot just like completely bare.
yeah, with no sock at all.
Yeah, that's
That's
kind of
super
concerning.
uncomfortable. First of all, like, does this person barefoot at all times? I like having socks on.
Mhm. Sometimes I just go shoes with no socks.
Ooh, no.
No.
Gotta let the
No, no,
dogs
no,
breathe,
no, no,
brother.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
you
gotta
gotta
let
let
the
them
trees.
breathe.
No,
That's what
never,
sandals are
never,
for, my
no.
Crocs.
Never no sock.
Never no
That's
sock.
a
Wow.
recipe for disaster.
You gotta live your life, Hegma.
Yeah.
No sock is like a desperate play.
Mhm.
Mounty Dan says shoe sock for added challenge.
Mhm.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm a sock shoe person.
Yeah.
I think most
Socks always
people
go
are.
on together first, and then the shoes go on. Perhaps later, yeah. I might be wearing socks for a little while before
You
I
gotta
put the
break those
shoes on.
puppies in.
So here's a question that I think might determine this. Do you guys leave your shoes at the door or do you like wear your shoes into your bedroom or something?
Oh, never into the bedroom. I
Really?
might wear my shoes around like as if I like walk in and like, you know, if I walk into the house and I just have to grab something,
Mhm.
I'll walk through with my shoes on. I'm not quite, I know that some cultures are very disgusted by wearing your outside shoes into the house, but
Right.
I'm okay with it for a brief period, but I wouldn't wear them into my bedroom. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
tracking outside in there.
Yeah.
So
But generally, shoes off inside.
Escape said in the comments in Hawaii we don't wear foot indoors and I was born in Hawaii and I was raised by people who lived their entire lives in Hawaii. So when I was a kid, if I ever wore shoes in the house, I'd get beat up a little bit or at least yelled at.
I respect the cultures that, they have a section in the walk-in where the shoes come off, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's where the line is and it ends.
Mhm.
In my brief stay in Japan, it was very refreshing having that like drop down from
Mhm.
the walk-in that like was specifically designed for the shoes to just get off and be there.
Yeah.
But at home, uh everyone kind of has their own like section in the house, and everyone's shoes goes in their section. So when I go to my room, my shoes are all like in a row because I have a lot of shoes for different shit, and they
Mhm.
all go like in a row under my bed. So if I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna put my shoes on, and then I'm gonna go out of my room and
Mm.
then out of the house. But I'm not gonna like walk around the house with my shoes on intentionally.
I think Shira should say his piece and then we should move on to the Odyssey boss thing. We've been talking about shoes for the last like 7 minutes.
That was
Now,
the
wait,
ultimate fucking email.
hold
The
on, hold on.
Odyssey question was just an aside.
Let's
Uh,
not rush through anything here. I feel like, in fact, can we cancel the Empyrean thing? Because
this is the rest of the episode.
I'm
yeah,
more unsettled by the fact that they said they're a sock shoe person.
yeah.
Mhm.
I feel
That's
like that might be
unsettling.
bait. That feels like it's so wrong that it's probably
I
just
think they're
like
lying
it's
to get a reaction.
yeah,
Yeah.
Come
it's
on and send
reaction
them to the
bait.
gulag.
Oh no.
Just fucking call, like, I don't know, ice on them or something.
Your shoes around the
Jesus.
house, Josh?
Sorry?
Do you wear your shoes around the house?
Honestly, it depends whose house I'm in. If I'm in my own house, nah.
Wow.
Shirash is like, I put
Nah, I'm only joking. I take it off. I take them off at the door.
Shirash is like, I put 2 socks on, but then I put 2 more socks on my hands and then 4 shoes
Mm,
on, and I go on all fours and just
yeah.
fucking go for it.
I could see him doing that.
I could too, yeah, for
What?
sure.
Do I really sound like the kind of guy that would do that?
Eh,
Never
nah.
mind, don't answer that.
So what's the hardest Odyssey boss in everyone's opinion?
Bumblebee
Hegmo
25.
Hardest Odyssey
Mm.
boss. I mean, it probably like the bullshit that is Bumba V25 and stuff. Like that's probably up there from what I've done. My least favorite is probably Ongo, but only because my brain does not comprehend magic. I only know physical damage.
Myth.
Yeah. I disagree with Bumba V25 only
I do too.
because it's annoying and it's a miserable fight, but it's all artificial difficulty
Yeah.
and RNG. Like it's an annoying fight, but it's not actually difficult.
Bumble
Um
V25 is very scripted. You just
yeah,
follow the script and you execute very simple things in like sequence, and then you click
right.
a button and you say, "Did we get it or did we not?" And then you warp out. It's a really
Yeah.
stupid luck
Well, I mean,
based.
I guess that's why I would say it's difficult in the sense that like the system that they've created for doing it is like there are impossible situations where you just
Mhm.
like, well, we lost. Okay, we lost again. You know, like you're just waiting for the RNG to align.
Me and Shiraj have brainstormed a foolproof 3 key item kill that does not require RNG, but we haven't had the time to test.
Yeah. Um if I were talking like actual difficult fights, it's interesting because I would say Ongo, but the thing that makes Ongo difficult isn't the fact that the fight is actually difficult. It's just you need key players to minimize mistakes in a certain window. So I think Ongo is the most difficult fight in the way that it is a robotic fight, and it is the most robotic fight out of the
Mm.
V25s. And it's just one of those things where it's not quite artificial difficulty, but it's not far from it.
What do you think, Shiraj?
I mean, I would say Ongo as well. I mean, if you're counting 3 key item strategy, then okay, Ongo's clearly not it.
Mhm.
But like 1 key item, Ongo's by far the hardest. There's too much that can go wrong with not enough like wiggle room for mistakes.
Yeah. I think
I think
I think
yeah.
Kibble had a good point. Ongo while progressing through it, like making
Mhm.
sure that you check all of those boxes, and then once you're able to consistently check those boxes, it's very doable.
That's fair.
Yeah, I
I've got a
think
hot
too
take.
because Ongo is like a magic burst strategy. I think that for the general population, for
Mhm.
most people don't play the game that way. So there's multiple levels of learning that have to happen. Where you're
Mhm.
like you have to learn the fight, but you also have to learn how to play black mage. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right.
there's that element too.
What's your
I've
hot
got a
take,
hot
Dex?
take. I've got two answers.
Mhm.
One answer is Embose 15.
But
Mm,
yeah,
yeah,
that might be
yeah.
true. Yeah, especially back in the day.
That was
Embose
terrible.
15 is brutal with
Mhm.
no add to like TP on. You just have to walk a tightrope for 15 minutes straight. It's
Mhm.
brutal.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think when I did it the very first time, when I first did Imbo's V15, I was like trying to figure out this like Beastmaster, Blue Mage, like the kind of accepted strats for it with TP denial and all this other stuff. And then I got frustrated and I was like, you know what? It's Gartel now. The Embos is Gartel. We're just doing Soul Enslavement Mighty Strikes
Hell
when we're just zerging it down, and that's how I got my kill.
yeah.
And then I think the hardest V25 is actually Ngai.
Really?
Mm,
I think it's very difficult to find a talented white mage that can handle that
Mm.
fight. And no matter what you do, there are occasions where he does a thing instantly, like a spell or a crit, into just you just get one shot
Mhm.
through anything, and it
Yeah.
just makes that fight really miserable.
Yeah. Guy does have some RNG to it, but uh, I recently went back and cleared it twice, like in the last month or two, and I felt like once after the initial clear, once I understood the fight a little bit better from a long time ago, it was relatively easy to replicate.
In
But I
Prague, Arabati was the boogeyman for me, and then when
Hmm.
I did Arabati, he was a pushover and a joke. So I think it's really all about who you bring for that.
Yeah,
honestly, Arabati was the easiest V25 for me.
I
Yeah,
By
thought
far the
Embose
easiest.
was, but everybody wasn't
Embo's in
too
my
far
opinion is
behind.
the easiest. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Kalunga actually gave me trouble, which I was surprised about.
Yeah, yeah, I think Kalunga. I think a lot of people went from V20 to V25 Kalunga and got caught flat-footed. I know I did for sure. It was the step up in difficulty was more than I had expected.
All right.
There is one mechanic though on Engai that many people do not actually fully understand, and that is tidal guillotine.
Hmm.
And that is one of the reasons why that fight is as much of a pain as it is. People think tidal guillotine will kill you only if it does more than half of your health.
Hmm.
That is not true. I mean, it's partially true, but it's not true.
Okay.
Even if tidal guillotine does 0 damage, if you are below 50% health, you will die. That
Right.
move is a
Yeah.
2-step move. It hits you first, and then it's a HP check.
Hmm.
And if your HP is below 50% after the first step, you will die. And
Yeah.
Rip.
It can definitely
so
be tricky.
your healers just need to keep you at full health. Because even an auto attack into tidal guillotine will kill you if you're
Hmm.
below half health. And if you
Yeah.
want to verify it, you just record it, wait for tidal guillotine, and you slow it down. You will see the damage, and then followed by tidal guillotine on the chat log.
I'm gonna real quick, I'm gonna just put an aside thought here because we were talking about giving advice before, and you can see how scarred Shiraj is from giving advice because he immediately provides ways to make receipts.
Yeah.
He's like,
If you
this
want
is
to
how
prove
you
it,
test it. Yeah, yeah.
here's the evidence. Here's my receipts.
Bro,
I'm not.
I'm so sick of having to prove myself and then having to
Right.
bring receipts. Like, if you want a receipt, I've got it. Just let me know.
Just don't. Like if somebody calls you stupid, call them stupid in caps. Like that's my strategy. Um, but it's fine. It really doesn't matter. But I do appreciate that there are people that go out there and do actually test these things out because that is important information to have. So thanks for
All
doing
right.
that, Shirash.
Yes, sir.
Are we ready
Well,
for the
that was
next?
Alea. Thank you, Alea.
Yes. Ready for the next one? Last
And then
email
the
for the
next
day.
one is from Fet, the
Mhm.
final one for the day. Fet says, "Hello, guys. A few weeks back, you guys were talking about the weaker jobs and how they cannot compete.
Mhm.
I would be curious for your take on what would it take to tweak these jobs to bring them up to be a competitive job,
Mm.
so we aren't all running around as warrior with Nagling spamming Savage Blade. Specifically, interested in what you guys would change around Ninja, but I know it's not the only unloved job out there. Thanks."
Mm. Mhm. I have a quick
This
answer
is
for Ninja.
That could be a whole
okay,
fucking
good.
episode.
Because I
I
was about to say the opposite. I was going to say we could talk about this for like an entire 3 hour,
I have
4
a
hour
very,
period.
very quick answer for Ninja. Three things need to happen. Make hybrids not resisted on 90% of the contents. Make it so AoEs only take a certain amount of shadows instead of all of them. I remember Rua saying a long time ago the idea of a level 1 gospel taking 1 shadow, a tier 2 taking 2, and so on. Like I think that's a great idea. So making sure that shadows just aren't constantly wiped by everything in existence. Giving them AoE shadows as the default instead of the stupid dark blade, and
They can't do
then
that because of that.
well, I know they can't, but they should have. um and just giving ninja a way to survive like AoEs, like
That's fair.
let them do the damage they can do, and fucking let them survive. That pretty much fixes most of it.
I think Enin and Yonin should not decay and
Yeah.
should get buffed. I think the tank one should allow all of your buffs to be AoE except Utsusemi.
Hmm.
Save that for the Yagyu. But all your buffs should be AoE. That
Hmm.
would allow Ninja to add some unique buffs to the party, like store TP and stuff. My biggest issue with a lot of jobs in the game is that they don't provide utility to the party, and then
Yeah.
you're going to take a job that does instead.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I think Ninja, what you said about the hybrids is a good thing. Um, Damn, I had like another thought, but I can't think of
Hmm.
it now. Ninja just its job abilities and its spells aren't useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
I think as a blanket statement, not just Ninja, but Ninja kind of falls into this category as well. I think that like the reason why people default to warrior with nagling, which I avoid at all cost, even as a warrior main. I hardly ever use nagling, but
Hmm.
I think because it's so strong. And so like I'm not of the camp that they should ever do anything to nerf anything. They shouldn't bring Nagling's damage down, but rather they should reassess some of the weapon skill formulas that don't perform well. If like you have a weapon skill that can only hit for 15k in perfect gear, like that probably needs to be reassessed in terms
Mhm.
of why that formula works that way. And that would, I think, like just a blanket assessment of all the weapon skill formulas for all jobs would make a lot more class variability be a thing.
Yeah.
And then on Ninja, like Ninja, I feel strongly that like I would love to see Ninja be able to perform in its hybrid role more optimally. There's such a huge component of Ninja that's enhancement, like buffs. So like the idea of allowing the store TP to become AoE or AoE Megawari, something like that would be awesome. The other part is I think that like I would love to see Ninja and Red Mage compete for the hybrid enfeebler spot.
Yeah. I was thinking those are
Um,
two similar jobs, and that's not mentioned
yeah.
enough. But
Yeah, I would, and I've said this numerous times when like Ninja comes up, and like I would love it to be like you're going into content and you're like, do we bring a Ninja because they're going to have really high hybrid weapon skill damage, a little bit more survivability and enfeebles, or do we bring the Red Mage because it can bring healing and all this other stuff?
Well, Ninja needs like
So
its own stymie, essentially.
yeah, I would love to see ninjutsu enfeebling be on par with red mage enfeebling, so that
mhm.
like those are they're the same job essentially, uh, or the same role performed by different jobs.
Yeah.
I think it was yesterday. There was the Japanese live stream. I forget what they call it. Freshly picked.
Mhm.
Yeah, aim on
Um,
live or whatever.
they had said something about what was it again? Let me look. Shraj, what do you have to say while I look this up?
I think they need to change how the katana weapon skills work. They're terrible. Every single one of them's terrible.
Yeah.
Hybrids can't be used enough. Too much content resists them.
Mhm.
The buffs and the debuffs. There is zero use in using ninjutsu debuffs because
Yeah,
they don't stack with the red mages.
hmm
They're less
and
potent.
red mage is always more potent, and red mage simply has better options too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even like I might get a lot of shit for this, but I'm a firm believer. Yagu's Dark Blade kind of sucks because you might be able to pull hit, but you're not going to survive. Ninja's too squishy.
I think
Like
the
anything that
Yagyu is kind of just like a silly toy to
it
give
is, it's a silly
everybody
toy.
some survivability, but it doesn't function in the way where it lets Ninja tank,
Mhm.
and it doesn't. And if you're gonna wear it, then you're gimping your DPS output.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of like a
Give
catch-22.
give the prime katana an attack bonus and maybe a TP bonus and pair it with Yagyu, and then it would be cool.
Like my problem is like people make the comment as like, oh yeah, I can rip hit from anything, but it's like, okay, but can you survive?
Right.
No,
And like anything that you want to bring a ninja tank, anything you want to bring a tank for, you're not going to bring a ninja because if you pull hit, you're probably going to die.
I
Yeah.
think Ninja
I
needs
mean,
to
I
naturally
think
have so much evasion that it's able to just dodge
mm,
hits from like high-level targets.
Yeah.
With
which, like,
Yeah.
mathematically, I think that Shiraj and I were talking about evasion and how it is affected by eye level and stuff like that. It just like simply won't happen just by the math. It would have to be obscene because of how that
But it should be.
skill scaling happens. But
Right.
I agree with that. But I think I don't know. Yeah, I think we all generally agree on like you need to make it viable in that's the fix is like look at the weapon skills. Are they doing damage? No. Can we adjust those? Look at its enfeebles. Do they compare to anything else that enfeebles? No. Okay, can we fix that? Like
Right.
how I think that's the general solution is that like which I'm unfortunately I don't think is ever going to happen because the solution is that the devs need to play Final Fantasy 11 and observe where the shortcomings are and I don't think that's going to happen.
Hey, we have in-game GM spec.
Do we
What?
really?
Yeah. So, on a side note, we one of the people in my link shell just recently got pulled into Mordian jail.
Oh, I
Really?
remember. Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard of it.
yeah, because they had an inappropriate name on one of their alts, and they got pulled into primordial jail, and a GM confronted them. I saw the screenshots. So I think they're upping the presence. I really do. Whether or not that will be a good thing, I guess time will tell.
I was gonna say earlier about the ninja thing.
Mhm.
In the Freshly Picked, I think it was, they talked about something really interesting. They said, uh, with Camelot's new sword that's coming out, they it's like an end spell sword, and they said, to tell the truth, we wanted to make a special weapon skill for this weapon,
Mhm.
but it was impossible, even though we tried. As far as development resources go, quote, if you want us to get rid of something else so we can make it, we'll look into it. Ha ha ha. Like, this has been a topic of discussion from Square for a long time where because of
Yeah.
whether it's PS2 or whatever, the framework of their game, there are limits to how many spells, weapon skills, and whatever they can put in the game, right?
Mhm.
Um, for Ninja specifically, why are there 2 tiers of Tonko? Like, we don't need 2 tiers of Tonko.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gut 1 gives us a new spell, whether it be an enfeeble, a buff, something. Like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of instances with a lot of the bad jobs that have things that are unnecessary and just can get replaced or changed.
Yeah, I
What is
agree.
the difference between Tonko Ichi and Ni? Is it
Casting
just
time and
duration?
Yeah,
yeah.
just casting
Casting
time.
time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It's crazy.
I think realistically, you can cut Tonko Knee out of the game. Like
Yeah.
Ichi
I
for sneak and invisible is fine. No one's
Mhm.
gonna cry about it.
Yeah. Or even like take out Ichi and just make it Ni from, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, or give Ichi the potency or the speed of Ni and just remove Ni, you know, if you want to keep the 1 2 2 3, you can't start on 2.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know, like I think that there's definitely trimming. Even I would even go as far as saying like, do I need Shining Blade and Seraph Blade? Is, you know what I mean? Like, do I need Burning Blade and Red Lotus Blade? Do I need like a lot of the weapon skills I think could be pruned. Like, how many weapon skills in your kit do you actually use? um I don't know. I think that's another opportunity.
Yeah.
Ranger, marksmanship and archery have a weapon skill that is executed next to the mob that smacks it with the weapon and then shoots. And
Mhm.
that weapon
Oh,
skill
yeah.
has historically always been dog shit.
Yeah.
Let's get rid
Yeah.
of it.
I think
I think it's like
get rid of all the archery weapon skills except for Sarf and Flaming Arrow. No,
I
I'm just
don't
kidding.
agree with
I'm
that.
just kidding. No, don't come after me. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding. I love
blast
Ranger.
shot and blast arrow.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
again, like go and rework all the art. Like, why are we still like archery until Sarv came out? Which thank
Mhm.
God they made a good archery weapon skill.
Yeah.
But like they were for so long, the formulas on all the archery weapon skills were absolutely like laughable. You could not make them do decent damage.
Mhm.
It's just impossible. They don't scale well into the current game. So like, what can we not just adjust the math? Like, that's not even a new spell. I'm just asking you to change the one that exists, like they did with Howling Fist. Yeah.
It was brought
Yeah.
up a long time ago in I think the Reddit AMA, where people have been forever saying, "Why does Blade He get augmented by agility and then
Mhm.
Jishnu's Radiance gets augmented by Dex? It should be the other way around. It seems like an
Right.
oversight." And they addressed it. They're like, "Oh, maybe it was." And it's like, "Are you gonna fix it?"
Can we get an adjustment? No? Okay.
They're like, maybe it was a wink, and
Yeah.
that, yeah, jeez, that's
It's
crazy.
like it wouldn't take much to just go and swap it.
Yeah. Boys, we've
But
been
what
at
Hegmo
it
said was
for an hour now. We
what?
almost ready for
I
Empyrean
was gonna
stuff?
say what Hegmo said is this could be a whole episode, and I
Yeah.
really believe
Mhm.
it. Where
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we could go through the bottom 5 to 10 jobs and have something to say about them, and have like
Maybe
a
we'll do that.
Ruomoko style wish list.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Maybe we should reach out to Rua and see if he'll come on and reevaluate every single job with us.
That'd be
I've
fun.
al-
Have
I've
different
already
I
reached
mean,
out to him.
we
Yeah.
should do we could just do it like, you want to really milk this out, make it into a series of like every single week we
Mhm.
just do like 3 hours of how do you fix warrior, and then how do you fix
Yeah,
monk, and then how do you fix black mage, and you know, just like go
yeah.
down the list.
Well, you know me, I'm all for the money grabbing ideas.
Yeah.
So if I can like
Oh, wait,
milk
wait, wait.
content, yeah.
Money grab.
Hmm.
So, are we gonna put this extra episode behind a paywall?
Absolutely. Yeah. I
It's gonna be on
know.
the Patreon.
Yeah, I know. I should keep showing you guys like screenshots of zero earnings. But that's actually photoshopped.
Yeah.
That's the end of a long line of zeros that I'm actually raking in from this
Mhm.
podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Mhm.
Well, I hope you put that to good use.
Okay. Let's kick it off. So the topic of the day is actually Empyrean weapons. So we're going to be going through similarly to how we've done Bonanza, Prime, and Aeonic weapons so far. But now we're going back a step further into Empyrean weapons. The first weapon on the list we have is good old Varathragna. What do you guys think about Varathragna?
Oh, let me pull my thing.
Varathragna,
Varathragna is awesome.
it's a cool weapon. It's still strong to this day.
Yeah, I
I
think we're
would
starting
say
off strong.
I would say a detriment to it is that God hands exist and are easier to acquire.
Okay. I think they're still on par with God Hands. Potentially a little bit stronger situationally. What
I'd
do
say
you
the
think?
opposite. I
Really?
think God hands are a little bit stronger.
Okay. I'm no monk, so I'm gonna have to take your word on that. But I feel like I still see Varathragna being used very, very often.
They do. I have it as like an A rank, but that's just
Mhm.
because it's a good weapon. But yeah, like Varathragna kind of fell off over the past few years simply
Yep.
because of endgame.
Okay.
Like endgame having the weapon skill wall just hurts Varathragna because Varathragna is only really good with Victory Smite.
Oh,
And
interesting.
if there's a weapon skill wall,
hmm
you kind of want to switch up your weapon skills.
Okay.
So like older content, like casual content, like Ambuscade or like high tier battlefields, Varathragna is fine. Probably
hmm
on par, if not better than God Hands in some situations.
So the weapon
But in
skill wall is what hurts it there, and there's probably
pretty
not a
much,
lot of other hand-to-hand weapons skills that don't scale with TP very much, huh?
well, yeah, that's the thing. Like most of Monk's weapon skills scale very well with TP, which is
Okay.
why God Hands is so like damn good.
Mhm.
You
They
know?
scale more with multi-hit and TP than they do with like weapon skill damage, which
Yeah.
is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monk is such a weird job that way.
Maybe the most unique DD in that way.
hmm
But with Varathragna, typically you ride Aftermath and you just hope the white hits hit really hard and spam Victory Smite.
hmm
Whereas with God Hands, you kind of do like multi-steps and you alternate your weapon skills a lot based on whether you have footwork up or not.
hmm And we made this mistake in the Prime video, but the aftermath only affects hand to hand on the first hit, right? The first
Yep.
hand. But let me correct that. It's the first hand, but it can proc if there's like a double attack on the first hand. Is that correct?
I believe so. Like I
Okay.
think in general, Empyreans, the difference between Empyrean and whatever is that it'll apply to all hits in
Yeah.
the attack round.
Whereas
So I
primes
think
don't.
the Varathragna will apply to the multi-hit on your first punch, but not the second. And I mean, generally that was the split, right? Like you have Varathragna that is fast and lower damage, because the delay is very low.
hmm
But you get the Empyrean Aftermath where, and Monk does really well with the even when you take out the both hands hitting, like
The delay
it
being
just is
low is
attacking so fast and their delay's so low. Yeah.
hmm
So like
the delay being low
they
is like
put
a
out a lot of
double-edged sword
attacks.
though.
What's that?
The delay being low is like a double-edged sword though for Monk
Yeah, true.
because of the Empyrean body or the Mach
Yeah.
earring.
And I think, we've talked about this before. I think Shiraj and I have talked about it at some point, but like Varathragna actually is too fast.
Correct.
Because the way Monk's delay works is as you get more martial arts, you actually are reducing your delay. Your attacks go faster. But martial arts, you can have, if your martial arts is too high, your delay will hit the cap of how much it can be reduced, but your TP will keep going down, because of how the calculation is made. So like you'll be attacking as fast as you can and generating less TP because you have too much martial arts.
Mhm.
Um, So Varathragna with recent gear additions, like Empyrean +3 and stuff like that, it can very easily have too much speed, and it's hard to actually take off enough martial arts.
Dang.
I would say
So,
last night I watched Velner do Lilith
mhm,
on his monk, and Velner very recently finished his stage 5 prime Varga Purnakawa.
mhm,
Mm,
And for the first half of Lilith, he was using Varathragna because habitually he would use Varathragna for the first half, and then when Lilith ascends, he would switch to God Hands.
mhm.
But he was switching to Varga Purnakawa for Lilith ascended,
Okay.
and I was like, why not just keep the Varga on full time?
Yeah.
So he tries it, and he's immediately incredibly impressed by how often he's critting and how often he's doing 3x damage with the Varga.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming that the Varga works in both hands, unlike the Varathragna.
mm.
And I would say like the
I'd be interested in testing that just out of
testing that, yeah.
yeah, because
Based on his chat logs and how much damage he was doing, I think that's the case, but obviously it would need to be tested and proven.
that would be really busted if Empyrean only worked on the first hand and Prime worked on both.
I'd
Uh,
say Varga is like the second or third coolest looking Empyrean.
They
Look
are
at
very cool looking.
look at Tao's message. I've like that's the reason I can't rate got Varathragna super like highly like other people would.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that that's like when you're talking about is the Empyrean weapon good. I think that you can't fall into the trap of like where does monk fall into the meta. Um,
Well, it's more of I look at it like how does these weapons stack up for the job, and then look at when are you even going to use it?
yeah.
You know, like whenever you use monk in like anything serious, you're
Mhm.
going to be using God hands. Like other weapons can clear it. Like yeah, the DPS check's not that tight, so you can clear it with other weapons. It's just
The
why would
ease of
you?
access is another stopgap for me because Varathragna are arguably like the second hardest Empyrean to
mhm,
farm.
Mhm.
It's
yeah.
terrible.
I mean, I would say that Varathragna used to be one of the best Empyreans, but I think
Absolutely.
as things have
Definitely, yeah.
scaled, it's fallen off. And I honestly I think that like I recently made stage 4 Varga and I was braced for it to be awful. Like I was ready to do like, 20k weapon skills or something.
Mhm.
And they're great. That's fantastic. They feel like such a good, and I know we're not talking about Varga necessarily, but like they're right in between God Hands and Varathragna in terms of delay and damage and everything else. The weapon skill actually hits really hard. Um, I think they're fantastic, and I think that it further removes the need for Varathragna because they have the damage proc. They're not quite as fast. You're not gimped by the martial arts requirements and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, I would say I used to put Varathragna probably at like a high A, but now I would say like a low B.
That's where I'm at. I would
Wow.
put them in like low B, maybe high B, but still B firmly because of
Mhm.
where they're at, where Monk's at, and the comparison the God Hands in the current meta.
Hmm. That's interesting. I came into this conversation assuming that Varathragna was going to go into A. And then
I have it as a low A.
you guys just like stomped on my hopes and dreams. I don't play monk. I never will play monk. I have no desire to do that. But I'm still like my feelings are hurt over this
You've seen
conversation.
my
Mm.
spoiler, and the weapons that I put in A, I think are far better than Varathragna.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that like to Shiraj's point and everything else, like if I had monk, and I do play monk and I like playing monk a lot. Um, if I had access to God Hands
Hmm.
and Varathragna, well, I have God Hands, Varathragna, and Varga. I almost never put on Varathragna. Like
Okay.
I used to always be in God Hands, just because like there's very few situations in which you're bringing a monk where you're not gonna be able to do the skill chain because you're super buffed anyway.
Hmm.
Um, and so the delays kind of not like a huge factor. The added TP bonus, everything else, and like in the current meta, I feel
Mhm.
like there are some instances where white damage has a huge impact, but like when you're talking about doing a, you know, a 7K or a 4K or whatever, a high thousands triple damage auto attack, at the expense of doing a 90K howling fist and instead doing like a seven, like I'd rather do the weapon skill, in most of the content, especially because like, when you're Lilith, Cloud of Darkness,
Mhm.
Odin, all these TP denial fights, even Ammonon, people are doing monk. Like you're you're gonna benefit more from just doing the weapon skill output and self chaining and getting the long chain in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should, as we wrap up Verithrognite, I think we should quickly discuss some of the things that we're thinking about when we're ranking them. For me, a big one is use case scenarios and how that tapers off as the players get more geared. So obviously, as you guys have stated, Verithrognite use case scenarios have gone down quite a bit over the years, and especially with like the event of primes, if that's something they pursue and someone puts in that work, it seems like the use case continues to go down as people progress. Is that kind of accurate?
As a general rule of thumb, the prime weapons are kind of one to one with the Empyrean weapons. There are exceptions to that statement,
Hmm.
but in terms of what their purpose is and what their specialty is, like doing the triple damage white hits and so on, they're very comparable in that regard. So most, not all, but most Empyrean weapons kind of get usurped by their their variant, the
But
prime.
I think
Yeah.
we should still take into consideration, like for the next one, well, the next one we have up on the list is Twashtar, and I think Twashtar is
That's
definitely
an
one
exception.
of the best because the use case scenarios don't go away when Prime happens.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the few exceptions
Right.
where its boost to Rudra Storm, because Rudra Storm is such a potent and powerful weapon skill.
Hmm.
Um, that makes that niche of that weapon still viable after you have a stage 5 prime dagger.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I think in general, like as a general statement, I would agree with that though, Dex, that like most of the time primes are at stage 5 especially is kind of like an Empyrean with a better weapon skill. I
mhm.
think is
Correct.
is the general note.
Yeah, the Empyreans are kind of limited because they essentially provide damage, and
Mhm.
that's kind of their whole gimmick is just damage. They're unfortunately kind of one dimensional when it comes to like what it does for the job, for the most part.
I think there's only 3 or 4 weapons that break that rule.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple out there for sure, but for the most part, they're I feel like the Empyreans are some of the more lackluster um, Rimas.
Yeah, I think like because I don't know, I think when you look at them compared to Mythics, for example, like Mythics still for a lot of jobs still have such a huge impact because they
Hmm.
have very specific like job specific augments. And because Empyreans are by design like a multi-job thing, like you get, with the exception of Monk, because it's a bad example to start with, but like your your Khalid Bolg is usable by Dark Knight and Paladin. Like they didn't restrict it to a singular job.
Hmm.
And because of that, they don't really augment the job in a unique way. They just give you an aftermath and damage, like you said.
Right.
I wish all Rima weapons were designed the same way Mythics were, where they were like
Mhm.
Yeah.
tailored to the job.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I would love that. I really wish primes had, or they had put in the effort to make primes like one for each individual job instead of, you know, two, three, four jobs sharing a single one with it not doing anything
Mhm.
particularly special or fun for the jobs in particular. But moving on to the next one, we've got Twashtar. What do you guys think about Twashtar?
think Twashtar is fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Still,
I
I'm putting a poll up for each of these, so if chat wants to weigh in on their thoughts, feel free
hell yeah.
to cast your vote.
I unironically think that Twashtar is the single strongest damage dealing weapon on this list. What do you guys think about that?
I would say in a world where prime weapons exist, Twashtar is one of the few weapons that still maintains a use case.
Yeah, and a consistent one because of the weapon skill properties and the ability for Rudras, like you said, to do good damage.
70 dex is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially when in the realm of daggers, like with the dagger meta and how it affects,
Mhm.
like just in general performs. Rudras and Twashtar are super unique in that like it brings higher damage and a really strong weapon skill. It's like probably the exception to a lot of the generalizations about Empyreans. And of all the jobs, like it enables a dancer or even a bard or whatever else to just perform a lot better from a damage perspective.
Yeah.
As a bard, I would, as with a stage 5 prime, I would still use Twashtar for Rudras.
Yeah.
I would not like Impugandring instead or Anus. I would switch to the Twashtar.
Yeah, not to mention like the dancer skill chain abilities and being able to apply darkness damage on things like Gartel, like that. It's a significant increase compared to Mbugandring or
Yeah.
or like Ruthless Stroke or something.
Yeah, and then but there is a huge downside to Twashtar in that it's Glavoid, right? So you're kind of
Yeah,
gimped
yeah.
on your capacity to get it
Mhm.
with while maintaining your sanity.
Just like Varathragna, it is
Yeah,
any
Varathragna's
Karangi
Yeah.
NM is miserable.
Yeah. So hear me out. I think Twashtar is the strongest one on the list. I think it's amazing. I think everybody should get it, but I will never make it because
Yeah, I don't have one either.
because I don't care
Yeah.
enough to do that
On a positive note
bad.
about Twashtar, I would say,
Yeah.
because I said this about Varathragna, I think Twashtar is the coolest looking.
Mhm.
Oh, really? It is a really cool
Yeah,
looking
he
guy.
likes the rainbow pie slicer.
Mm.
Actually, years ago when they were doing the login points campaign for Empyrean items, I bought 50 Lavoid shells
I did too.
Oh, nice.
and I still haven't made Twashtar because I'm too lazy to do the rest of it. I have like a more or less fully geared dancer, but I don't know if I'll ever have a Twashtar, even with the Glavoid shells. But that being said, I think it's amazing. I still think it's the strongest weapon comparatively to the Empyrean weapons. I wanted to put it on S because I think it ages the best. I think it ages the best of all of the damage weapons. I really think it does.
I would A plus it.
A plus, okay.
Yeah,
I think only one
chat's put it in
Empyrean.
A. Chat has put it in A.
Chat has put it in A. Okay. See, here's the problem though, is we're gonna get to Masamune, and then people are gonna compare Twashtar to Masamune, and I don't think they're on the same level.
I think before primes they were.
Right. Before I think my biggest point here is Twashtar has aged the best.
Yeah.
In a world where primes do exist, like it doesn't matter like how feasible they are. Twashtar still has the most use case scenarios.
Not to get too far ahead of it, but like if you were to go down the list of the strongest Empyreans 5-6 years ago,
Mhm.
everyone would say Masamune, Varathragna,
Right.
Twashtar, Paladgold. And
Right.
of those four, you're correct. Twashtar has aged the best.
And I don't think it's like a small enough difference to put them in the same category.
If you think of it like in a world where if you have everything and you have the stage 5 prime, you're still going to equip the Twashtar.
Right. And then if you take that out of the equation, it's still really, really strong. So to me, Twashtar is just a straight up win, regardless of what
Yeah.
situation you're gonna be in. Shirash, you gotta break our tie, buddy.
Wait,
I mean, I just have it as like A.
Damn.
know?
All right.
I could maybe be swayed to put it in S.
All right, we're putting it in S. Dex agrees. All right, move on.
Wow.
Move
okay.
on. Everybody move on
Wow.
quickly.
Whoa,
quickly.
Whoa.
I've made the
we
case.
can bump it down later.
I've
Yeah,
made.
you
You know,
Hmm?
after thinking about it for a little longer, I think it definitely is the winner of the entire list. So
I
Really,
agree.
the entire list.
Yes,
Okay.
because
yes,
we'll
and I'll
get
get into why, because if you've seen my spoiler that I did, I
Mhm.
had like a different mindset when making that, and it's more of an older mindset. But like a lot of things shift around based on the primes.
Yeah. And I think like obviously that's something to take into consideration that people we our expectation is not to have a stage 5 prime, right? But at the
Yeah.
same time, it should affect your decision if that does enter the equation and it is still good.
Even if you're a player that you have the Empyrean weapon and you're making one now and you're not anywhere near making a prime,
Mhm.
in a year or two you might be, and that will affect your
Right.
decision down the road.
Right. So next up on the list, let me pull up my trusty handy BG wiki page. As another fan favorite, I think this is actually Dex's favorite Empyrean Almace.
I hate you.
Mm.
It was my first. It was my first Empyrean.
Really? It was my second or
In the
third, I can't remember.
75 era.
Mhm.
Well, I guess the 85 era.
Yeah.
During active Abysia, I
Mhm.
was a blue mage main, and I made an Almace. Getting it to 85 was good enough. Getting it to 90 was not necessary.
Yeah, it wasn't a big difference back then.
No, it wasn't. But having CDC was huge, especially with Raised Ruins and other Atma.
Even on
CDC
Paladin, it
was
was strong.
incredible.
Yeah, it was super
Um,
fun.
It's not nearly as good as it was back then now, but CDC was super fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think Almace may have aged the worst out of most of these.
I mean, I will say
Good point.
Almace looks pretty cool.
Mhm.
I think it's a little too bulky. Like it's very fat.
Yeah, but that's I like the thickness.
Yeah, you showed Dex how much you like the thickness when you were in New York.
Hey, quick trivia. What does Shantusing mean?
I have no idea, and I don't know if I want to know anymore.
It means swan song.
Oh, that's nice. Actually, I think I've heard that before. But Shiraj, you're a big Almace stan, aren't you?
I mean, I have a higher than you guys probably think.
Yeah. Do you have it afterglow, whatever?
I actually do.
Mhm.
I used Almace quite a lot as a red mage soloer.
Oh yeah, no, I believe it. CDC is a great skill chain weapon. Funny anecdote. I have not unlocked CDC. Listen though, because
My eyes are closed and I'm shaking my
let
head.
let me put an asterisk on that. I have unlocked it because I have a level 85 Almace, and I made that
That's not the same thing.
before
That's not the same thing.
before I quit when I was in like 2012. I made an 85 Almace, and I used it all the time on Paladin. It was dope. And when I came back, I I didn't see people using CDC, so I was like, you know what, fuck it. If they really want me to use it, I'll throw on that 85 all mace, and that'll be hilarious. And I've never bothered to do it. And if anybody's like, hey, use CDC, I just put on my Excalibur and I use Knights of the Round instead, and it's fine.
I mean, that's probably stronger and better.
Yeah.
See, I don't think you guys were around for the 2016 to 2018 Blue Mage era.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Blue Mage supremacy.
I'm very mad that I missed it.
CDC was king yet again.
Yeah.
Every single Blue Mage was just spamming CDC.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Really, even in
missed
like the because Tizona still existed then. Like people were using
Yeah, even when
Almace over
Tizona was,
Tizona.
yeah, Almace was king because people didn't have the accuracy for shit. So the extra dex was amazing, and
Everyone loves more of me.
there was no R15 augments at the time.
Yeah. So, question: other than soloing red mage stuff, are there any use cases for Almace?
No.
Just none.
I've got one.
Okay.
Cut Shrub Ambuscade.
Okay.
Mm.
For the white
That is good.
damage.
Yeah.
You want a white damage
Sure.
sword for your red mage only.
No, that is true. I did use it for that. Yeah. I have it as like a low C, honestly.
I
Hmm.
put it in D easily.
I would say D.
Fuck you guys.
I don't know. I think D might be fair because
I mean, I think that if we're gonna like nitpick, like, well, in the current era, are you gonna use Verithragna over the prime weapon options and blah, like, yeah, if we're gonna do
Yeah.
that on Verithragna, then on Almace, you have to say the same thing.
There's
You know,
one
if you
word
wanna
more than
if
Almace,
you wanna
and it's
like if you want to put all the options on the table, I think, and I am a firm believer in this weapon, and I know not everybody is, but I would say Caliburnus beats out Almace in every single scenario. So like,
absolutely.
so yeah, like, it's just a better Almace.
Yeah.
Higmo kind of got a little heated over that one.
Yeah, I got passionate about it because everybody
Bro got real
talks
into it.
down. They talk down on my Caliburnus, and
Yeah.
I think it's a great weapon.
Tell us more about this. I like passionate Higmo here.
I mean, it does like percentage amounts less than Savage Blade, sure, but it also has 10 DT on it, and it has, like all this other shit, a triple damage proc. It's gonna do more damage every single
Almace just says
day.
death. It's like we,
Hmm.
and then CDC like does not do damage anymore at all. If you gear to the T, crit gear and all this bullshit
Mhm.
that you wouldn't need otherwise, so it's like going really out of your way, you're still only going to see like 30Ks at best when everything else is doing 60 to 99s.
Remember when that guy? Were you there for that for that Dex? Some like I don't want to name names, but someone on Twitch was asking me for a pass contest, Nagling versus his Almace, because he was very convinced his CDC would beat my Savage Blade.
First of
Interesting.
all, he's insane. Second of all, I wasn't there for that, but I would have yelled at him. Third of all, this weapon is trash, and why are you giving it the time of day to put in
Oh
C? Like,
no.
and
Look,
I have lost respect for you.
I'm
And you putting
I
gonna
have it
go
in
back
C
and
just because of.
I'm gonna go back and finish this, and I'm gonna prove all the haters wrong.
Okay,
Just give
this could be
me
your Caliburnus.
yeah, just give me 10
Gentlemen,
to
if you have-
15 years to finish
So,
this.
what you're telling me is you and me both need to finish our 85 Almaces.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Dex, I have it in C because of what I have in D.
Well,
He's
all
not.
right. Let's talk about what you got into D when we get there, and we can reshuffle. We always say that, but most of the time at the end, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of you guys, and I just leave. But I will try to.
Please, can we just stop talking about this?
Yeah, I will try to make the space today to actually reshuffle at the end if we need to.
I wanted to as an aside. I think
Mhm.
your camera looks really good today. Like it's
Hey,
like
thanks, man. I got a new camera.
you're focused on the camera, but the background is like blurry and it has a nice effect to it.
A little
Yeah,
bokeh.
yeah. I got a new camera a couple weeks back, and I've been kind of playing with all the stuff that it can do. It's really weird because it came with all these like beauty effects. So like I've slimmed myself down.
Nice.
I've made my eyes pop more. I made my chest look bigger. I found out that
Damn.
everything is fake.
Why are you lying?
And here I am.
Everything is fake.
Here I am, like a boomer, spending
Yeah.
all my Twitch earnings on plastic surgery.
See, that's the thing, Hegma, is you don't actually have to do that. Just
that's crazy.
just download mods, and
Yeah.
there were actually like crazy like changes that I could do with this camera, but we're getting off topic. So let's
Raj spends all of his on dick pills.
whoa. Okay. Next next we have is Khalidbolg, the good old trusty Dark Knight greatsword.
Khalidbolg, the undisputed
Okay.
champion of Empyrean weapons.
How can you
5
say that
years
it's
ago.
trusty if it whiffs every single hit?
So does my Lapria, so I can't really judge it that
Yeah.
much.
It's the one hit weapon skill debuff.
yeah.
For some reason, if it's a one hit weapon skill, it has negative 50 accuracy.
Dude,
I
I
don't know.
swear to God, it does. Oh man. What do you guys think about Cloudbolt? Dex, you have one of these, don't you?
I sure do.
How do you like it?
I like missing. I liked it a
Great
lot
for
more when I played Dark Knight.
Mhm.
Now Dark Knight, in my opinion, is a lot worse than it was a couple years ago.
That's kind of a bummer.
My thing about Khalid, and I have to say this, my buddy's a Dark Knight main, and he made Rongominiad, and after seeing, Dark Knights use, Rongo Bongo on, Mboze, I think Rongo gets a bad rap compared to Khalid.
Mm.
I think it's just because Khalid easier to make,
Okay.
and people like the two-step light, fun,
Are you talking
easy
about
light.
Redemption?
Isn't oh, no, Rongo's
Rongo's the
the
Dragoon
the
Lance.
spear, yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Redemption.
Yeah.
I knew it began with an
Okay.
R.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
You're correct, I
I
was talking about the side.
I just always call it the Calibri Beak Scythe. Um,
But,
but yeah.
when you're a Dark Knight, you have to choose between the 2, and I think, Redemption, the R word, is
Mhm.
better.
Why the
Interesting.
hell did Dark Knight get 2 Empyreans?
So question, do you think the
Ranger gets 2
scythe
Empyrean.
do you think the scythe is better because of the weapon skills that scythe offers because they're multi-hit?
I think it's both the weapon skills, like Cross Reaper with
Hmm.
Redemption is fat.
Okay.
Um, Scythe has better skill chain properties, like you can make multi-steps, you have access to, the MP restoral from Quietus, or not Quietus, the other move.
Um I know which one you're talking about, but I'm blanking on the name.
I can't remember the name, yeah. And, honestly, I think Scythe just in general has fatter base damage, so your white hits are gonna do more, which is kind of the point of these weapons.
Interesting. Coward is
Um,
like the staple for new Dark
it
Knights though. And
absolutely
it
is, yeah.
was really the staple, especially before Primes came out.
That was definitely why I made it,
Mhm.
because the atmosphere of, the player base was like, "This is the thing to do."
Yeah. I was
Right.
gonna say 5 years ago, Caldbolg was like Caldbolg Dark Knight was the gold standard of damage dealers.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think not only has Dark Knight fallen off to other two-handers, specifically Dragoon. There's a
Mhm.
huge rise in Dragoon these days, whereas Dragoon was much less desirable 4
Mhm.
to 5 years ago. Um, like, I used to put Khalid right up there with Twashtar, and I think it's fallen down a few tiers.
So
Um,
I want to know why, or I want to know what you guys think about comparing it more directly with Varith Ragna and comparing its like use cases, kind of like with how we did with Varith Ragna. You think it's better,
Uh
has more, less?
I think Dark Knight,
Mhm.
honestly, has less use case than Monk in modern endgame.
I will
Really?
honestly disagree.
Like,
I mean,
what do you use Dark Knight for?
Well,
I
you
mean,
could use it.
I still run Swordy with a Dark Knight, but I'm not doing 9 boss craziness.
But how often is your Dark Knight using Coward?
Yeah.
he's not.
Cloudborg is still like the second strongest weapon for the most part
Mhm.
before the Prime. So like until you
There
get
was
the Prime,
a
Khalid is still gonna pull ahead.
this might have
Okay.
just been like because I made it up kind of comment, but I feel like at one point somebody was arguing, it might have been a Final Fantasy auction house thread or something, that like the damage per second because of the attack speed and the triple damage procs on Caldbolg was higher or on par with the scythe, the prime scythe.
Ain't no way.
But I don't believe that that's true.
That sounds like copium.
I mean,
What
even if
Raj
it was the
said?
same, the utility from the Prime Scythe is just so good.
Well,
Absolutely.
that's the thing.
Well,
Like the DPS from the Prime and the Khalid is actually closer than it seems in some scenarios.
Right.
Like obviously the Prime wins for the most part, but in some scenarios it is closer than it seems, and
Well,
that's
I feel
why
like the Prime
Khalid
itself
is.
invalidates both Empyreans for Scythe, because you know your damage is higher or even, but you get the insane utility. There's
Yeah.
just no comparison with Origin.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of thinking like a direct comparison to Varathrogna might be a little bit more appropriate for
But
this
the only
to what
context.
reason-
Shiraj said earlier, he said for Dark Knight, this is the second best, and then you get the Prime, and the Prime beats it. But I
Mhm.
would even have pushback to that. I think Liberator is incredibly strong.
Liberator is
Yeah.
very good, and it's honestly Liberator does beat Khaled in some situations, but that's the problem. You need AM3. Some fights you're not going to like build that. You just want to weapon
Now,
swap.
I do, before we get too caught up, I do want to point out that paladins can also use Khaled Bolt.
When I was mastering my paladin, I had this fantasy that I would make Khaled Bolg and then get the founder's breastplate and go Torcleaver the Undead Hounds in Rakaznar. I never did
Nice.
that because I gained my senses and just healed the party.
Mhm.
But but in theory, before Primes came out, it sounded like a lot of fun.
I have seen paladins whip out Khaled Bolg in Sortie,
Mhm.
like for upstairs bosses to do more damage.
That
Like,
doesn't make
"Hiya."
sense. Like I just use an eggling.
I agree.
Yeah.
I did master my paladin with a stage 4 Helheim.
Yeah, I'm sure it's super fun.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
impulse drive it. Like fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, Myth. The whole like Khaled Bolg versus Gareth Ragnar comparison. The
Mhm.
reason I have Khaled probably I would say a little bit above Gareth Ragnar
Mhm.
is simply because of the weapon skill resistances. Most enemies in
Okay.
the game resist blunt. So
Okay.
there's actually more use cases for slashing damage.
So
fair.
the use cases for Calibulg specifically, they would be Signet runs.
Well, no, because you can use Dark Knight for V25 Kalunga. You can't
Yeah,
do that with Monk.
but
You
are
can
you
still
going to
use
be
Khaled Bolg.
using Calibulg on Kalunga with the light properties that it has?
You probably would, yeah, because there's
Okay.
going to be enough. Like, if Khaled Bolg is the only weapon you have,
Mhm.
you would use it, you know?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think you can say that about every
You can say that
weapon.
about
but
anything.
yeah.
I believe it would beat. I believe it would beat. It would probably beat Liberator in that scenario.
I disagree there. I think Liberator beats for Lunga. I've seen Liberator. It's really, really nasty.
I think we can put Calibulg on the B tier. I think there's enough use cases for it, but it's probably going to be outshone by some of the other stuff that we go over. And if we
I was
want to
gonna put it-
shake that up, what's up?
I was going to put it at the bottom of A.
Bottom of A. Okay. Okay.
In the
I
results,
I'm with
there
that.
was in the poll, one person said B and
Mhm.
one person said S.
Yes.
So
Okay, so I guess it's A.
So that means D tier. Got it.
All right.
Like I was saying, like really early on, I think
Mhm.
it used to be on par with Twashtar, especially
Yeah.
with like perception,
Okay.
and it has fallen off. I still think it's one of Dark Knight's best options.
Yeah.
I just
For
don't
sure.
think it's like so heavily comparable that or beating them that it needs to be like higher on the list. But I
Okay.
do think it's stronger than Varathrogna.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
too, like with how gear has changed for Dark Knight again, like with the same thing with Varathragna in that sense, like as Empyrean +3 and Relic and Artifact and stuff and all the high augment like Odyssey gear, I feel like Scythe has become more in meta in general than it used to be.
And plus, like, Dark Knights just want to live out their emo boy fantasy.
Oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
just let the guys use a scythe. Come on.
It feels fucking cool as fuck jumping up in the air and slamming that shit down though.
I mean, like it's the same thing for
Yeah.
it's the same thing, with archery. Like sometimes you just want to shoot a bow, and in the past we had to accept that our damage was going to be garbage.
Right.
But now,
Dude, I just got the Prime bow, and I still want to use Jishnu's because it looks so cool. It looks so cool. But like, remember like the first time you used guillotine on Dark Knight and you got to spin the scythe around? Like that shit was dope.
Oh yeah.
Let
Myth,
them live out their fantasy. What's up?
I have something for you to pull up on stream.
Oh god, what is it?
It's a little meme. Here you go.
Okay. While we get this meme, let me look at the next weapon on the list, and that is Farsha. Hegmo.
Farsha. Oh hell yeah.
Hegmo, you have a Farsha, don't you?
Yeah, I love axes.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot going on in this meme right here. I don't know how I feel about this. Oh man. Let's take a quick look at this. Oh, that's a problem. Hegmo, how do you like your Farsha?
Farsha's fantastic. I don't often use it.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't done any research before I made it about like how it performs or anything. So when I very first made it, I was super bummed out because I was like Cloud Splitter. It's like magical weapon skill. You can probably scale it up like Jinpu or something and just do cap damage Cloud Splitters all the time. It does not do that.
Mm-hmm.
The weapon skill is not great, but the triple damage procs are very fun.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it's great for ambuscades where you can take advantage of white damage. It's fun for maybe your dynamis divergence, but I don't use it very often, but I do love it.
Okay. So I I think I'm actually making a Farsha right now. It's the
Mhm.
first Empyrean that I've wanted to make in a minute. And the selling point for me for Farsha has always been the magic damage.
Yeah.
I think Cloud
Yeah,
Splitter
it's
is dope.
like if you're doing you can use it on your botulus or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a good magic damage weapon skill. Which is rare for like a warrior. Like it's
Right.
one of a few like decent, but it doesn't perform like some other things do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a solid weapon, but probably not one you're gonna get a lot of use out of. I think I've always considered it like a passion weapon.
It's a
That's
very
Yeah.
niche
actually gotten
case.
better lately.
My personal experience with Farsha
Mhm.
was when doing Bumba V25
Mhm.
for key item
Mm.
1, we would use a warrior,
Right.
and our warrior decided at one point to switch to Farsha because you pop Mighty Strike. You get AM3 while he's running in with that weapon skill of the Cloud Splitter, I
Yeah.
think it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you ride AM3 and just white hit the fuck out of him,
Yeah.
and you outparse everybody with Mighty Strikes and AM3.
Oh yeah. I mean
It
the
was
warrior
insane.
should
You get
be
20
winning
to
that parse.
35k white hits, dude.
Yeah. I believe it. I think that's a really good scenario for it. I think it performs pretty well on Kalunga if you have that as an option. And then personally, I like it for doing like aid boss, like killing elementals or something like that. If you have to do the magic or the elemental
Yeah,
kills.
Yeah.
it's one of the rare magic options for warrior, right? There's not many.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But outside of
Beastmaster
that,
can use
like
it.
Zerg scenario where you're just blasting white damage,
Mhm.
it's not a very common use case, which hurts it.
I do think that it has less use cases than Verithrognus.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Even if
Yes.
primes were like completely out of the picture, this is not a weapon that you would use very often because there's just other options.
I have it like low B simply because
Will
of
be
stuff like that. It's
okay.
like
I would.
people put. Hmm?
I'm agreeing with you. I would too.
Mm.
Oh,
Mhm.
I was gonna say like people use it for like Kalunga or even Boomba, but just using R30s like Kenkazaks.
Yeah, yeah. I
No, I
think
think it's Ikengas for
Like the
Bumba.
problem I have with Farsha is the weapon skill is terrible.
Yeah.
yeah.
The weapon skill's not great.
See, that's
When we're talking
interesting.
about axes, I just really quickly want to voice a extreme complaint, and I know I keep talking about prime weapons, but like, why isn't Warrior on Spal Resource?
Hmm.
Yep.
Dude, if it was, I would relive my dual wield axing days so
Yeah,
fast. Oh
I
man, I
feel
would
like
love that.
primes were their opportunity to put like tons of job diversity on these things, and
Hmm.
they didn't. They, in fact, removed jobs from some stuff,
Yeah,
and it was like, why?
they were like, let's make relics, but take out the fun parts.
Let's take
yeah,
samurai off the bow and silly shit like that.
Yeah, I uh, I don't know. I think it's funny because you guys all said Farsha on B, and I feel like I was arguing for it more, but I was still gonna put it on C tier because I
I
like it.
think
I
it's
do.
better than Aerith Ragna in the current metagame.
Really? Okay. Maybe
But
Yeah, I think
my perception of Monk is just so far off that
yeah.
I'm just out of
Well,
it.
I don't know. I think that's a tough one. I would still put Varith Ragna in like a B plus, and I would because like I guess from this perspective, if you're a new player, right, and you're like, I am super motivated to make any Empyrean weapon to be a useful member of the party. I would 100% of the time recommend somebody make Varith Ragna before they make a Farsha.
hmm
I think both are bad choices if that's the criteria.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But like at the same time, like Varith Ragna would be higher on my list than Farsha is.
Hmm. I suppose that's true for that specific player, like that type of player. But I think Farsha as a pocket item for an already
Yeah.
established player is a
hmm
better item.
Fair.
Okay. What do we have next up on the list? It's
Did we put
the
this in B? We
we
put
yeah,
Farsha in
I
B?
put it in B, very, very bottom tier of B.
Okay.
Have you been
For
like
now.
has your ranking been overruled for everything? Like have the three of us agreed and then you were
Um
you were the outlier?
I think we agreed on Twashtar and Almace. And then
But
I
like
was the outlier.
technically we didn't agree on Twashtar and then I kind of gave you a bone.
Well, I talked you guys into it because I was correct.
Yeah. Yes.
I was objectively the most correct person. And that's the thing is like I can admit when I'm wrong, and I think that
Mhm.
maybe my perception of how strong Varathrogna, based off of what you guys are saying, is just incorrect. So now that we all know that I'm right all the time, let's go ahead and move on to Ukon Visara, the Great Axe. This was my very first Empyrean weapon back in the 85 cap. And I gotta tell you guys, farming Glavoid back in 85 cap was a nightmare.
Oh, absolutely.
It was terrible. It was like one of the worst experiences ever, but so worth it. Okay. What do you guys think about Ukon? Do you have an Ukon, Hegmo?
I do not have a new con. I think it looks cool.
Mhm.
I just have never had like a huge reason to make it. I know that it does have the triple damage and it does a lot of white damage. I think that Uko's Fury is not a great weapon skill and it suffers a lot because of that.
Hukunfasaro has always been a super cool weapon, and I
Mhm.
think it's held back by its weapon skill, like a lot of these weapons are.
Yeah.
Um, when Odyssey was new and people started doing Odyssey C climbs, there was a resurgence in Ukon
Mhm.
because there was like some huge thread post and people arguing back and forth about its utility
Yeah.
and how back then there was not enough like weapon skill gear, like Nyame didn't exist.
Mm, yeah.
So you would do an Uko's Fury, get the mob to like 20 or 10%, and then the white hit damage from your aftermath would clean it up so easily
Mhm.
that you were out parsing people.
Yeah, I did that for a long time, up until I got my prime, and even with Ukon, upheaval is relatively strong. Like it's no
Yeah.
Savage Blade, so you can one shot an Odyssey mob from like 60 to 70% with upheaval, and you get to 60 to 70% with like one auto attack normally.
Yep.
So even when like Nyame and stuff started coming out, I preferred Ukon over Nagling for that specifically, but that's just like
Yeah.
a stylistic choice. Most of the time, like for these days, I think Ukon is basically a just for funsies weapon. I think it's pretty
Absolutely.
much limited to things like the Mughal ambuscade, or like the Kutrib ambuscade, like you mentioned before.
Warrior had
It's
such a massive arsenal,
mhm,
and
Well, yeah, that's like the cool thing about Warrior is, and like at least in my like little RP fantasy of playing a Warrior a lot, like it's fun that you have options for every single encounter where you're like, I've got my
Mhm.
spear, I've got my one-handed axe, I got my arsenal of two-handed axes, I got my sword, I got my club. Like that's kind of the fun part of it. I think that, especially when you get into the territory of primes and stuff, like um disaster is just a really strong weapon skill. You get a lot
Yep.
of the multiplied damage white hits from the prime and everything else. So it takes away some of that prestige from Ukon in
Yeah.
that
Lafayette
sense.
just
But
does what Ukon does, but better, right?
yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
it's
pretty
the power
much.
fantasy that it wants to be.
Yeah.
But I'd say like Ukon from a newer player perspective is like a stronger option than like when you don't have a lot of gear, you're gonna do similar numbers to like your Nagling or your Chango, but then the white hit will just make it so much stronger because it
Yeah.
scales so easily. But once you like get a lot of stuff under your belt and like you have more of the end game gear, I think it really starts to fall off in its utility.
Yeah. It's a weapon that is like close to my heart because it was my very first remat ever. So I really like it.
Mm.
But I would still rate it C because I don't
Yep.
think there's very many use case scenarios here.
Do you have something to add, Rush? You wanna
No, I think it's just mid. Honestly, like
Yeah.
B. Yeah, it's kind of just
B?
yeah.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think
I
I
showed you,
think it's like high
I
C.
showed you my list. Yeah.
I know. I'm just like curious what makes you put it higher than some other options.
Well, I have it very similar to like Farsha. I don't think it's great. I just think it has one or two uses, but it's kind of like
I
I
think
don't know,
the
just
fact that Farsha
it's
does
okay.
magic damage and Ukon does not makes it
Mm.
a different level because it adds a dimension to it that Ukon doesn't have.
And the fact that if you want, you can throw Farsha as a ranged weapon skill when you do Visceral Axe,
Yeah.
If we're
Yeah.
talking
which is super fucking
strictly
cool.
from the warrior perspective,
Mhm.
like if you're gonna use one for white hit damage versus the other, I
Mhm.
think in like Zerg perspectives, like the Bumba fight, the Farsha just gets more hits in more frequently, and you can pair
Mm.
it with Blurred Shield, and that's the difference maker for me.
Yeah.
That's why I would rate Farsha a tier higher than Ukon.
Yeah, I would agree that Farsha is a little bit better than Ukon. I don't think either of them are amazing, but I think they're fun weapons either way.
I do think they're a tier apart, though.
Yeah, I would agree. Are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite Chocobo Beak Scythe. Or not sorry, not Chocobo, Calibri Beak Scythe. Redemption. This is the big one.
Forest?
Shiraj, I saw your tier list. Why do you have it rated so low? Do you really hate it that much? Do you really hate it as much as you hate
He hates
Almace?
Dark Knights.
I think that might be it too.
Yeah.
Honestly, the reason I have it so low is literally because when are you gonna use it? Like Dark Knight's gonna use Liberator, Khaled, or the Prime, or you're not gonna bring a Dark Knight. You're gonna use a fucking Redemption.
I've seen some people with Redemption, and I gotta say, like every time I see a Calibri Beak sprint across the stream or my
Every time I
screen,
see it,
I'm like, that's amazing. That looks so. I would wear it just for that. If I
it looks
had,
amazing.
yeah,
It is one of the coolest looking
mhm.
Empyrean.
Like it
It's
does look amazing.
ridiculous.
It's just every single time I've seen it in action,
Mhm.
it's terrible. It's like I'm watching one stat clip.
I think it's as strong or stronger than Calico, but
Does
The weapon
Redemption look
skills.
cool? I don't know if Redemption looks cool though. I'm gonna
I
challenge you
like
guys
it.
on this.
I
I
think it
don't
looks
know.
ridiculous. I just keep calling it a Calibri Beak because
I
that's what it
like it a
looks like
lot.
to me. I don't know.
As an aside, what are your top three like stylish ones? Like what's the coolest one in your opinion?
The
Varith
coolest
Rocknut.
looking one? I would say the coolest looking ones are probably Ukon looks really cool. I think Ukon is super unique in how it looks.
I'll say
Especially
Frostbite.
in the way of like axes in this game. There's just like not very many cool looking
Isn't
ones, and
Ukon
Ukon
like
just looks unique.
a toothbrush or a mop? Like it looks like
No, it looks like a sweet fucking hammer axe.
No, I think you're mixing it up with Chango the toilet brush.
That's the toilet
Yeah.
brush.
Chango
That's
the
not even-
lotus,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lotus one,
that's
yeah.
back.
I honestly, Verithragna are kind of cool, but I also don't like how they look in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
So they're not
Honestly,
cool.
Rongomyont looks pretty fucking sweet.
All right, back to the topic of redemption.
Yeah.
Is okay. So here's a question: does the difficulty difference between getting redemption versus getting Coward Bulk play into this?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So term it like this: even if they are the exact same amount of damage, let's assume that they are. Would redemption be a full tier underneath it just because of the difficulty? That's a big jump going from Khalid Bulk to uh the redemption path, which is Chloris.
I think there are so many more Calibulgs in the environment strictly because of that reason.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing that I don't know, and we haven't talked about yet, are what about the skill chain properties of their associated weapon skills? Because Khalid Bulg is pretty nice. You get some self-light skill chains out of there. I don't know what the redemption weapon skill chains
You're
with.
doing dark stuff.
You're doing dark stuff. Okay.
I think
There's some
Calibul.
dark stuff.
I
Do people
think
use
Calibul,
Quietus for anything?
Quietus is okay. It's not that good.
Hmm.
It's
If you were
would use
using
it
redemption,
with redemption.
yeah, if you were using redemption, would you still use it consistently, or would you just use it for aftermath?
I think typically with scythes you're doing multi-step skill chains,
Okay.
and I've seen Quietus in that like multi-step.
Yeah, multi-step,
of
or the default would probably be like what, Cross Reaper?
Cross Reaper is usually like spam weapon skill. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cross Reaper's strong. Cross Reaper's great.
Okay. So because
Quietus
of that, because
kinda
oh,
what you're
sorry, go
fighting.
ahead. Go ahead, Dex. Sorry. Repeat that.
I was saying Quietus ignores defense, so it kind of depends on what you're fighting.
Okay. So in the
Mhm.
big scheme of things, I think Khalid Bolg has more universality to it. What do you think?
I suppose so.
Okay, so can we say that
It's a full tier.
that it's like B tier, probably above Farsha? Is that fair, or is that not fair?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say that Farsha has more use than Redemption does.
Yeah, I would say that's way too
Interesting.
high.
Okay.
Like,
Next
I don't
rebuttal.
think you.
I
don't think
I
you'll
just
ever
wanted to
see
be
it.
higher than Ukon on the list because I think it's
Just
better.
higher than Ukon. Okay, I'm fine with that. We'll put it above Ukon on C for now, and if we need to shake that up, we will.
Yeah.
We will discuss.
Yeah, that's chat. Chat said C as well.
Okay.
With a D vote as
Mhm.
well. There was a D in there.
Okay.
So it was averaging low C, but
Okay. All right. Well, moving on to the best looking Empyrean on the list, Rongomiant. This is the Dragoon polearm. I don't have this. I know one person that has this, and he very rarely uses it. But it looks cool, and it seems like it might have been cool a couple years ago.
I've always wondered why, and I don't have it either. I've never had it. I don't even know if I've ever seen it in action. I've always wondered where like Ukon and Khalid Bolg and all these like the big heavy hitter two-hander weapons, there was always this argument of like, oh well, it's the triple damage proc and like you're attacking fast, doing triple damage. You're creating this white damage scenario. Why does that not apply to Dragoon?
Yeah,
Why do people
it
not?
was never part
Yeah.
of the discussion. You're right.
Yeah.
Is it because Dragoon benefits so like builds TP so quickly from jumps that you're not really benefiting from the white damage the same way, or like what
It
is
might be
that?
the way polearm weapon skills scale with TP,
Yeah.
and why people always tended to just focus Trishula or the crits from Shining One instead.
I think the weapon skills have a lot to do with it. Polearm weapon skills aren't good. In general,
Oh.
they're not good. So like even Trishula is not super strong, like we've discussed before, unless you're like multi-step skill chaining. So until you
Yeah.
get like the buffed version of Impulse Drive and beyond that Dearm Weed, Polar, there's a reason that people use Nagling so much on Dragoon, unfortunately. So that being said, like Camlands does have some niche uses. I think it's interesting because I'm fairly sure that we used that for Bumba because it doesn't skill chain with the other options that other people are using. I could be misremembering that, but I'm pretty sure that that is what we did for our clear.
Hmm.
And I think it. Let me double check. Let me look at the page. I think it ignores defense, um, which makes it really good for ignores a portion of defense based on TP. And that makes it good for exactly like situations like Bumba where you're not going to be remotely close to attack cap. But outside of that,
Yeah.
like Camlands isn't a weapon skill that I would be using very often, if ever. So
Camlands looks fucking cool as fuck. Gigantic
Yeah,
spear thrown at that fucker.
somebody said that part of the problem was that Camlan's tanked frame rates so bad. Apparently
Oh really?
yeah.
The
That's
animation is
crazy.
enormous.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've always like wanted to play Dragoon, but I've never really gotten into it.
Dragons are cool.
Yeah, I've said this before. Unironically, I think Dragoon is the strongest melee DD that exists right now. I think it's a
I
phenomenal
was
job.
about to I was like moments away from plus 3ing the entire set of Dragoon Empyrean yesterday, and then I realized I never took Dragoon into the basement, so I couldn't.
Well,
And then I came to my senses.
go do that and then record some Camland stuff so we can
Yeah.
look at the stuff.
I need to see Hegmo's like little avatar, but outside of Warrior AF, but in Dragoon AF.
Yeah, I like that. So what do you guys think for Rangomion? I'm thinking it's about C tier. Along with
I would
like
put it at the bottom of C.
bottom of
It's
C.
got the similar role that Ukon and Redemption serve,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like Dragoon specifically has even more reason not to get it because of things like Shining
Yeah.
One.
Great. Okay.
All I'm saying is, if Almace is down in D tier, that Polon better be in D tier.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that there's really not much use case for it. So I would
Okay.
say
That could
trend
go to
tending
D as
towards D.
well. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
I do think it's worse than Redemption and Ukon by
Okay.
a lot.
That's fair. I I don't know enough about it to like give a really good like overall opinion. So I will trust you guys with the D tier. And I know I don't want to set Shiraj off. I know he's like chomping at the bit because we put his Almace in D
There's gonna be
tier.
a passionate Dragoon out there
Yeah.
that's screaming and seething right now.
Yeah. I feel bad.
You shouldn't. They're wrong.
Oh God. Okay. Jeez. Sounds like some shit that I would say, Dex. All right, moving on.
You're a bad
So Kanagi can go straight into D, and then I think we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man,
No discussion
I don't
needed.
think I've ever seen a Kanagi.
I have, and they
I
used to be cool.
When Abizia was real,
hmm
that was a fucking
Mm.
amazing weapon.
Yeah.
Nothing beat that thing.
I'm gonna put a poll up just so you. Well, I have to end. We went too fast on Rangami. I need to go. Well, new poll, Kanagi, and I'm just gonna set this one for 30 seconds. So be ready to vote.
Right.
We've been doing
Go ahead,
5
Pat.
minutes.
Or Ninja. I mean, absolutely. That's really it.
Yeah, I think Ninja got fucked every single way with this weapon. It used to be really cool.
Well, I feel like
Worst.
yeah. I
The
feel like
worst
Ninja has gotten fucked on every single Rima that it has. It's like they just constantly get shafted.
No. What were you gonna say, Dex?
I said Kanagi is definitely the worst katana
Mhm.
of all the Rima options. Like even people that meme on the mythic, like it has a use case.
Right. And
And Raj is now sending pictures of himself with Almace calling us haters.
Oh man, that's so funny.
I can lock style Almace too, buddy. That's all it's good for.
Oh jeez. All right, simmer down, boys. Um, What is
But I
the
do think
use
we're all in
case of
agreement
the
on the
mythic?
Kanagi without discussing it.
What's the use case of the mythic? Out of curiosity, just the re-raise.
For the ninja, the Nagi,
Yeah, the mythic.
having a Mijin macro piece is better than Kanagi.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
also, like, it's actually kind of slept on because of the aftermath.
Playing Puppet
Also-
Master is better than Kanagi.
Yes.
which is saying a lot. And I will say Nagi looks fucking cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, there
They're
aren't
like
any.
the little hand side things. They're
What are
Yeah.
they're
those
super
called?
cool. I don't know,
Kusarigamas
but
or whatever.
yeah.
If there is a legit use case for Kanagi that we are missing, then I would be interested in somebody to share that with us. I
Someone,
don't think
please,
there is though.
drop a comment about
Yeah.
Kanagi and its use case,
Mhm.
and tell us
Exactly.
why
Yeah,
we're
how's
wrong. We'd
how's
love to hear
Blade
your thoughts.
He?
It used to be really good in Abyssia.
Mm.
It was really, really strong. But since we've moved out of that and crit weapon skills
Yeah.
have largely fallen off, it's
Is it
Honestly-
Blade E or Blade High?
I
was
would
I
say
don't
probably
know.
He. I
It's
will
Blade
say
He.
Kanagi, the poll for Kanagi had the most votes that we've
Mhm.
had so far,
Mhm.
and they were all D except for one S, which was just somebody
Someone's
trolling.
going
I
straight
guess
to jail.
I guess we
Yeah.
gotta split the difference and put it in B. So,
No, we don't.
I actually
That's
know a
wrong.
use case for it.
what's that, Sharon?
And this goes against what Barstool said.
Mhm.
So Barstool said that the Mythic is the best DPS for Ninja on Crystal Paradise on Archangel EV.
Mhm.
But actually, Blade He's pretty damn strong. You can get like very consistent 25k Blade He's.
Hmm.
Which if you've done that fight, you know how tanky Archangel EV is.
Is that better than, say, the Aeonic or Enabling?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like you'll probably do like a 10 to 15k Savage Blade.
Okay.
If you're getting
So
to the Archangel, you probably won the fight already. Let's be real.
Yeah.
The-
I mean, to be
Mhm.
fair, I've seen people fail it. I failed it. But fuck.
I just don't think that Ninja having Kanagi would have made the difference.
Oh yeah, no, but it is a use case, so I did think
Okay.
of one.
Okay. Good job.
Who's the emotional damage guy? Is that Steven He?
Oh God. Are we ready to move on to the next one? Does anybody have any qualms with leaving Kanagi in D tier?
That's where.
No, it's good there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one is man, I'm excited. I've been waiting for this one. Masamune. Masamune.
Oh, everybody's favorite.
Everybody's favorite.
Now we're gonna directly compare this to Washtar now, right?
Yeah, let's compare it. Well, that came up in the chat where people were comparing it to Swashtar. You know what I think we should compare it to is I think we should compare it to Shining One. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
absolutely.
So what do you guys think about Masamune?
To your point, unlike Dancer, Bard, Thief,
Mhm.
the Masamune has competition. And
Yeah.
Masamune has been king of the great katanas for a long time.
Mhm.
And then lo and behold, the Prime comes out. And the Prime
Mhm.
from every good samurai I've ever met, when they make their Prime stage 4, they put away their Masamune forever.
Yeah, that's largely been my experience as well. Which is the reason why we rated Twashtar so high, is because Twashtar doesn't
get the
get put
Prime
away
still
even with the
Twashtar,
stage
yeah.
5. Yeah. So let's rule out the prime of it all. Let's understand that puts it a little bit below Twashtar. Beyond the prime, how is it looking?
To your point, you can still use Shining One for a lot of bosses and get better DPS. Ironically.
Yeah. I think for the weapon skill damage, Shining One is going to beat it in most cases where slashing damage is not a factor. Which is going to be most cases where you're bringing Sam. Like outside of segments, I don't see really what you're going to be using Fudo on. The skill chain damage is what separates the two. I think it's very strong for that. I think it's nearly as strong as the Aeonic for skill chain damage. So I don't think that's something to ignore.
What a lot of 8 boss players will do is have their samurai go in and solo, like pop
Yeah.
Yo or
Mhm.
pop Yagasumi, depending on which boss they're
Mhm.
fighting,
Right.
and they solo a skill chain. And I would argue in that case, you're better using the Aeonic than the
Yeah.
Masamune.
Right. Right. There's definitely some times, like even with the Prime Great Katana, where I'm still using Shining One, and I don't use this, but I do think if you want a slashing option pre Prime, this is probably the best way to go.
Yeah,
I would have it above Khalid Bulk, honestly.
I
Okay.
agree with that,
Mhm.
but not in S. It's nowhere near Twashtar like it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a
Honestly,
fantastic weapon. I just think that there's an emotional attachment because it reigned over everything else for so long. It was so good for so
Yeah.
long until it wasn't.
We're
And
I
here
think it's
dogging
above
on it.
Twashtar.
No, we're here dogging on it because it used to be so good. We're
right.
still
Yeah.
rating it highly.
I
It's still the second best
How
Great Katana in the
does
game.
I mean, when you talk about like, store TP and or TP bonus and all this other stuff with
mhm.
especially with Samurai, how does like the Aeonic compare to like just from a weapon skill frequency perspective, all the other
A-
things?
Aeonic is actually very close to Masamune for the most part. The thing that
Mm,
separates it is the strength on
Mhm.
Masamune
Yeah.
paired with
mm,
that like triple damage.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. The
You use
Fudo
slightly
difference
fatter
between the
weapon
two is
skills.
noticeable.
Yeah, you do fatter weapon skills and better white hits
Mhm.
rather than skill check damage.
Right. And I don't think Masamune is by any means a bad weapon. But I think it's fair to critique the better weapons more harshly than the lower end weapons because we want to scrutinize the ones that everybody has been holding on to for so long if we're trying to be as objective as reasonably possible. Not that I would ever give anything that I would use an S, but you know, anything else to add to Masamune? I feel like it's relatively cut and dry based off what we've already said.
Yep. It's no longer the king it used to be.
What do you guys think about
So
the image, the log style, the style of it all?
I'm
Oh,
not I've never been a
that's
fan
fucking
of it.
horrible.
Interesting.
I've never been a big fan of it.
Okay.
I would rather use that pandemonium one that has like the blades sprouting from it, or the pulse weapon that's electric.
Mm,
Mm.
I would
those are
rather
both
use
cool.
Ohakari,
I don't know which one that
What's
is,
that?
Josh.
Wings of War.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you're an asshole.
you're
No one
the
has that.
yeah.
Of course, you'd rather use it. Yeah,
Jeez.
Tenkomaru is my go-to Great Katana for
Yeah.
lock style, the pulse weapon.
Yeah. I think that's a good one.
I also think like because
So
Masamune for so long has been very popular
mhm.
and so many samurai have it, just seeing it is an eyesore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Was this going in S
Yeah.
No.
below Twashtar or A?
Yeah.
Okay,
A. Do you have
above Khalid Bulk.
disagreement there? Do you want to put it in S?
No, I think that's appropriately. I think that in general, I kind of put it's like exactly the same as Khalid Bulk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I think the fact that it's also on the same path has helped popularize it as well, compared to some of the other
yeah.
Empyreans.
Do you
Not
guys find
saying
it
that.
ironic?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. You're in
Uh,
the middle of something.
I was just gonna say not to take away that it's like a good weapon. It still is obviously good, but I think the path being as easy as it is contributes to that.
Well, the same can be said about the Calibulg right there with it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, if we're talking ease of access, like Twashtar is so good that it warrants the misery that you have to go through to get it.
Mhm. Well,
I
not to
find it
me, but yeah.
I find it ironic that unlike the primes, like if you're a Dark Knight and you look at the tier list, the Great Sword and the Scythe have swapped places. And I think for primes, that's specifically because of the Scythe's utility.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Yeah.
for the Empyreans, the Great Sword just offers, on top of being easier to get, it just offers like easier skill chains, and that's the main like
Well,
deal breaker.
yeah, I think also it just comes down to the fact that the scythe is like fundamentally better in the primes.
Yes.
Like the weapon skill is stronger, provides utility, and It's just like, yeah, like there's nothing redeeming about the great sword other than that multiple jobs can use it.
Other than like we haven't finished
Or
obviously going
shockwave.
through we haven't finished going through the whole tier list,
Mhm.
but I would say on a macro level, the Prime tier list and the Empyrean tier list are gonna be very similar to each other,
Hmm.
with the glaring differences being the spear going from the tippy top to the bottom,
Yeah,
Mm.
and the swapping of the scythe and the greatsword.
yeah.
Cool.
And it just goes to show you when they design something that makes sense thematically and has some thought put into it in terms of how it works instead of just putting stats on something, it goes a long way.
Speaking of
True.
things that work thematically,
Are we going to
the
mage weapons or to ranger weapons?
the next one we have is Gambentine, the club.
Mm.
And
So
I
few white mages have this tool.
yes, including me, I don't have it. And I don't think I'll ever make it, to be honest with you. I've considered it, but I don't know if I will go out of my way to do it. I think it's a really interesting and unique tool to have, but I think
Yep.
the White Mage is in an interesting spot because Yag Rush is so good, but
Hmm.
even like really good White Mages understand that a Yag Rush is almost never needed. And Gambentine suffers from that same problem to a much larger
Much higher fold.
right. So
So
go ahead.
it's curse removal, right? Curse
Yeah,
Yeah.
plus
100% increased curse removal rate.
Mhm.
is that is plus 100 every time, like no matter what, or is it just
No, I
So
think it's like doubling the rate at which it removes, and we all
yeah,
know that Kursna is like a fucking 15% thing, even with a bunch of gear.
so it's a three? It goes from 15 to 30 with this. Is what you're
Yeah, it's a 100% multiplier based on your healing magic Kursna rate, is what
Yeah.
I'm sure
BGWiki
Shiraj like
says.
knows this like at the back of his hand.
Mhm.
yeah, I without Gambentine, I think the maximum personal removal rate's like what, 58%, something like that.
Without
But if
Gambentine.
you
Okay.
yeah, if you put this weapon on with no gear, no healing skill, you do not have 100% curse removal rate.
Right,
Yeah.
right. What do you think about this
Where would
weapon,
this
Shirash?
actually have use case for
I honestly
Zeviosa?
have it. No, you wouldn't use it for Zebiosa. I
Is
have
there
it in like very low C tier because it's mainly used for Doom.
Right. So to me, that says Yggdrant's. Like if you're fighting Nox
Yes,
and your group gets doomed, that's a good use
Yeah.
for it. Outside of
Or
that,
like
I don't
umbrals or
know.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how often we're seeing Doom with the
I
modern
would rather a
content.
session Kursna with Gambentine on certain enemies than Yagorosh.
Yeah.
Hmm. Which
I just
I mean,
enemies?
kind of
yeah.
irritated that
Igrians specifically.
kind of irks me that white mage is the only job on that.
What other job would you like to see?
Scholar Geo.
Okay.
Uh, I was well, okay. I think that there is two things I want to say about Gammatine. One, I'm still one of the people who, for some reason, does umbrals for my B chest. And there have been so many times where I've died to Doom or somebody's died to Doom because we can't take it off with the Yagrush. And after like 17 casts, and I'm like, I'm gonna go start working on it right now.
I
But yeah, I
Go
mean,
ahead.
that's a pretty niche thing. The other thing is, I think this is like one of maybe three weapons that's counter to the like why are there so many jobs on some of the Empyreans, and it feels like it's like, oh, this is a white mage weapon. They designed it for the white mage. That's cool.
Right. I agree with that.
I would say antithetical to this weapon, where it's like my white mage has this super duper curse and removing weapon, and they put it on, and they're like 80% of the time going to remove your curse. I feel it's kind of antithetical because when you as a player get cursed,
Hmm.
you should also be doing your due diligence to remove the curse by having curse removal gear and using holy waters.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I agree with that. But what's annoying about curse in general, what annoys me the most is that it's like the only debuff it has the most impact and by killing you than,
Mhm.
versus paralyze or slow. And it's also like the only one that has such a low removal rate. Like imagine casting Paralyna 4 times before it comes off.
Yeah. I think
So
if you do equip like the rings, the necklace, the waist and stuff, it's pretty reasonable to remove.
yeah,
But there's personal responsibility like baked
Yeah.
into that.
somebody made a comment in the chat about the curse note. I think this should be taken into consideration because I forgot about this. But the curse note on Gambitine didn't exist until Afterglow. So
Yeah.
What?
before that,
Yeah,
there
it's
was
not on the base
literally no
weapon.
It did
stats.
nothing?
It did nothing except for double damage and give you
It had, well, yeah,
the weapon
the
skill.
damage multiplier, and you could
Yeah,
use Dagon.
yeah.
Okay, well, if that were the case, it would just be the worst weapon on the list, bar none.
Afflatus Misery White Mage. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Does Dagon do anything unique?
I think it's a heal. It's like Origin actually.
Yeah. Honestly, like if the need to rely on players to do their, as Dex said, due diligence for the Kursner set,
hmm
I wouldn't have this weapon as high. But the fact that you can't rely on people, I think it's nice.
So where do you have it, Shiraj? C or
Very, very low C. Very
okay,
bottom of C.
okay.
That's kind of where I put it too.
Do you think this has more use cases than Ukon in Redemption? Is my question.
I think it's hard to compare them, honestly.
I think it is too.
While I agree, I think it's
'Cause
hard to compare. I do think it does because unlike those weapons where you're replacing those weapons with something that's going to do damage instead of them,
Mhm.
this is an item that you can always whip out to cast a spell with. So it's always going to have like a utility aspect.
Yeah. I think Gambitine is a passion item, but it's a passion item that is actually useful.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's very unnecessary, but if you want to go through all the trouble and be like a serious try-hard white mage, then
Mhm.
having it in the pocket will never be negative, and it's always gonna be something that, you can just whip out and cast the spell with. It's not like you're negatively impacting yourself by having it in
Mm.
your arsenal.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Anything else to add for Gambitine?
Nope. I would just
Great.
put it high
Where did we put it?
C.
high C.
I
looks kind
see.
of
Well,
ugly,
we
honestly.
put it in high C compared to what is currently in C
Mm.
because I don't know if how it's going to shake
I
out
think it's
towards the
better
end.
than the other options in C.
Yeah.
I would even go as far as to say I could put it in low B, but I think the utility of it isn't as
Yeah.
strong as it's not as strong of an effect to
hmm
warrant it.
Right. I
Fair
want
If it
enough.
did
to.
not have the first nut, it would be a complete garbage F tier weapon.
Yeah, I agree. So moving on to the next one we got is Havergalmir. Or sorry, I can't speak right now. It's the staff. It's the staff, the Merker staff. What do you
It's like a Murgle.
guys think about the staff?
I like it
I'm
a
just
lot.
gonna go ahead and get out of the way here and reiterate I don't know how magic works. So
So so Hegmo, not knowing what this, do you know what this is used for or no?
Merker.
No.
It's
Death.
actually a best in slot weapon.
It is
It
a best in
is.
slot weapon
Yeah,
for one spell. Do you
for
know?
one spell.
Oh, for one spell. I have
Mhm.
no
Yeah.
idea.
It gives MP plus 230, which makes it best for death.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Nice. What does
Actually,
Merker
more than
do?
that,
Oh,
260 to
restores
be
MP.
Merker is a fantastic weapon skill for Black Mage.
Nice.
Because you can gain TP from Occult Acumen and then use it to Mercury.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do Ongo and you need a little tip on Black Mage Hikmo, may I direct you to the Myth Posters intro on Black Mage Guide?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
We discuss Merker in that
Black
video.
Mage is such a seldom used job,
Yeah, it really
and
is.
death itself is also very seldom used. It's like almost exclusively in the current game end game.
hmm
I would say only used for like Ammonon 9 boss mage groups,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I know when Ammonon was first starting to be fought, very early on, and people were tackling him with Mage because Mage was in vogue at the time due to the weapon skill wall
Mhm.
shenanigans. This weapon had a lot of buzz, and it was very popular. People made a lot of Hervergelmirs at the moment, but
Yeah. I've considered
after
making it
that,
because it looks cool and it would be nice to have like a red glow on Scholar. Um,
mm,
but that's about it. I can't imagine.
definitely cool, but it's very, very, very niche.
Yeah. Shirash, what are your use cases for this?
Honestly, at the moment I don't have a very high. I have I think it was like somewhere around C tier.
Okay.
Because death has just fallen off, you know. Like the
Mhm.
last
Yep.
time I personally used death was
Water of Courage.
to to 3 box dynamis. I was blowing up statues with death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
And
fair.
outside of that, because I didn't really do mage setup Aminon because well, I was on break at the time. And
Mhm.
prior to that, it was 2016 Aeonics.
Right.
Like
Okay.
death is just not used anymore.
I would say if you were like a black mage main, this is a weapon that you should have for
Yeah,
for that access to that
but
spell.
there just aren't very many of those.
Sure.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, can you think of any reason to use this besides death?
It is a really good fast cast weapon. I
Mhm.
believe it's like 50% fast cast.
Yeah,
And it is
50%.
and obviously sometimes you don't want to switch weapons when you cast because you
Right.
don't want to lose TP like on Black Mage.
Yeah.
But
Would you
it
put
can
this
be
on for like
sit
mana walling so you don't have to change your gear around for fast cast and stay defensive?
nah, I wouldn't bother with that. Because with Mana Wall, you can just lock like you can if you use gear swap, you can just lock 2 or 3 pieces of gear and cap Mana Wall.
And a wall is pretty busted. Do you think it has less use cases than Almace?
I think this is stronger than Gambitine.
You think this is stronger than Gambitine?
Mhm.
Interesting.
I could see that.
How can you explain that to me? Because I'm struggling to follow that.
So Gambitine is a very niche macro weapon for one debuff removal spell,
Mhm.
and this is a niche weapon that is best in slot for a nuke. But you could use it for like using it for getting your MP back with Merker as well.
But
So you like
you wouldn't be able to
you would give
because the
yourself
TP loss.
staff. Well, I'm not saying swap to it. I would
Yeah.
say
Okay.
have it on.
So here's where my brain is going with this. Gambantine is a super niche passion thing that will give you something you're going to use throughout your white mage career because Doom is always going to be a thing. Um, this is a weapon that is best in slot for a spell that is almost never used now, and there's
Mm.
no use case scenarios right now outside of forcing your way into using death. So to
I
me,
don't think I've ever seen anybody cast death, to be honest.
I
Puts
think
a
it
big
was
spell
really
on people.
popular in Water of Courage days,
Yeah.
and like it was very briefly popular on Ammonon, but even then, like who's doing that anymore?
I
Mhm.
think a lot of people still mage Aminon. It's just it's not the popular way to do it.
Okay, I guess of all the 9 boss groups that I know, which I feel like I know at least 1 or 2 people in most of the groups. Um, I don't know anybody doing mage method.
I do think it's more popular to do mage mode
Yeah.
sortie in general for Japanese players.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's fair. Let me
Based
give
on
Zephy a
videos that
call and let's verify this. To me, like I feel like this is on par with like I don't know, I want one. I think it's cool. I think the fast cast is a cool little trick. I love Black Mage, so I would like to have this for death. But I don't see this having more use cases than Ukon or even Run Gomiant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as to put it in D tier.
Okay. Like I'm open to
I think D
arguments
tier
like
is
against
kind
that.
of
Sorry, what's up?
I think D tier is kind of unusable, whereas C tier has like a niche use case.
Okay. Shiraj is like rolling his sleeves up right now to throw hands. Um, okay, I'll throw it in. I'll throw it in C. And if people have arguments either way, like I'm willing to listen to them. I don't have strong
You're telling me
feelings.
Shiraj wants to fight me, like, what disagree with me, say something.
I'm just, there's not much to say.
He's just
The
sad.
weapon is, the weapon's just kind of like it's there. It exists.
Yeah.
I think you can say that about Kanagi. That thing just exists.
Yeah, but it's like I can't really like convince you about a death weapon, because our side of the Final Fantasy 11 community does not use this kind of strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd put her Virgomir in D.
I have it in C,
Okay.
like mid C.
Yeah, I
I
think
do think it's better than Gambitine.
mhm.
And if with my opinion of putting it over Gambitine, maybe we overrated Gambitine.
I think
I'm not
there's
saying to put it
still
in
the
D tier by
place.
any means.
Yeah. I think Gambitine is never going to go away as like having a use. And right now, I don't think the staff has a use. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
Sure.
This is my favorite weapon. And
Oh.
Dex, have you made a Gandiva yet? Do you have one though?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm
Ooh,
going
yeah,
to just for the
Gandiva's cool.
arrows.
I've
Just for
gotten
the
my
arrows.
Gandiva started, but it's been sitting halfway progress for a
Mm.
long
Yeah, I'm
time.
in the same spot. Mine's halfway done.
Okay. Yeah, I have a Gandiva. And to be honest with you, ever since our body V20 has been completed, I haven't used it once.
Would you use it now that you have Panaka?
Well, no,
Ever.
the thing is like Panaka doesn't have a use case right now either. I just made it because I like Ranger.
The one time I
Yeah,
saw
true.
Gandiva used to good effect, and I thought it was like super cool, and I was impressed with it.
Mhm.
The one time was against that Lamia ambuscade, where back in the day people would just like
Oh yeah.
outrange the petrify bullshit.
Right, yeah. So I used it for our body V25, or sorry, V20, because you can't for V25 unless you want to die. I mean, you can, but you'll likely die. And then I also used it for the Iron Giant ambuscade, but I'm pretty sure they patched that so that it's not an effective strategy anymore.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
like to me, Gandiva has no use case that I can think of, other than the fact that I will throw it on during Omen because Jishnu's looks cool as fuck.
Yeah. It's also fun to use.
Yeah.
Like when you get like a Gandiva like barrage proc, you're just doing like stupid damage.
Mhm.
That's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If somebody could like point me in a direction and be like, "Hey, Gandiva really shines in this specific thing," I'm all for it. The thing is like Annihilator is so strong now that it's almost better to use in every single situation than
Yeah.
Gandiva is.
Well, in
Uh,
that same vein, like if you take the gun aspect out of it, Yoichi is Annihilator.
yeah, yeah,
And I think Yoichi in many use cases is better than Gandiva
yeah.
for the same reason.
I think Gandiva really briefly shined when our body V20 was around.
Yeah.
Anecdotally, I always mention the story because I think it's hilarious. After we killed our body V20, when V20s were the top tier content, somebody was shouting for a ranger, and I said, "Hey, I'm a Gandiva ranger with the clear. I can come do it for you." And they turned me away because I didn't have Armageddon.
Oh, nice.
I thought it was really
I mean,
funny.
debatably for that fight specifically, because his AoEs are so small in radius,
Mhm.
you can really maximize the benefit of the distance fall off.
Yeah.
with the bow versus the gun.
Yeah,
I would
you
say the
can
bow
get some
for
true
that
shot
fight-
range
I would
going
say the
for.
bow for that fight actually would be better.
Yeah. Yeah. It I pretty confident that it is better for that fight specifically. But once V25s
Honestly,
rolled
it's actually
around.
not, you know. Like Annihilator is still stronger.
Oh yeah, Annihilator is super strong.
But I would say if so for Arabati, for that same argument, I would say Yoichi is better than Annihilator for
That's
Yoichi
the thing.
does make a little bit more
Yuichi's
enmity.
it's lower DPS than
Mhm.
Annihilator.
really.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it,
like
go ahead.
when I see Rangers in there, I see Coronage popping for like 40k. I've never seen a Namus arrow hit like 35k.
Yeah. Namus Arrow does have a slightly higher enmity percentage too, or enmity accumulation. It's not
Yeah,
it's
like
not 1-for-1.
the main benefit of Yuichi is it has a static enmity value,
Yeah.
whereas Annihilator has a enmity minus modifier.
Yeah. But overall, like I love Gandiva. I think it's super cool. I'm praying for the day that like I just log in and Gandiva is the new thing that everybody has to have. But right now I feel like it's D tier.
Well, the
Nama's
thing
arrow
that
is one of the coolest weapon skills in the game.
yeah,
You mean Jishnu's?
Or sorry, yes, just
Yeah,
news. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I was like,
I knew exactly what you meant as well. The fucking lightning. Yeah.
yeah,
We just got hung up on the stupid Yoichi.
yeah. No,
But yeah, the
One thing
just
that
news radiance.
like that really annoys me about Candiva is that one, like you guys know pretty much exactly who I'm talking about, except Peg. That one ranger who insists on using it for V25 Arabati and then
yeah,
proceeds to wipe
Mm.
like 50 runs in a row just to like flex a screenshot and then be like, oh yeah, Gandiva's a good weapon, guys.
yeah.
It'll
It's
take like 50 wipes just to get one single clear.
Specifically V25 Arabati, like
Mhm.
up to that fight, all the other Arabati attempts or the other Arabati difficulty tiers, you could kind of bring whatever weapon you wanted, and the ones with the better DPS kind of shown, which is why the Empyreans were so nice for that fight.
Yeah.
But once you got to the 25, the fight became so long and so like min max that you would just pull hate and you could no longer
Yeah.
use that weapon. It just was no longer viable.
Yeah, and Annihilator's so strong that you can kill it just fine without having to do any weird like Empyrean stuff.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
risk
mean,
of pulling hate and wiping the whole team just
I
falls.
always refer to my own clear with decks. We entered second game at 69%.
Mhm.
We had attack down aura for the second aura, 40% to 0. We killed it with 6.5 minutes left with him using
Yeah.
Annihilator the whole time.
That's pretty crazy.
Like if you need more time, you just need to get better.
Yeah, I killed it faster in my clear, but it's fine. Moving on. Let's
Weird flex, but okay. Weird flex.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
So where did we put it?
I put it on D tier, but here's my question. Do you think it is better than Kanagi and maybe
Yeah.
Rangomians?
Yes.
Yes, I
And
think it's
Almace,
probably the top of D.
I'm not gonna put
I
it
think it's either
above
top of D
Almace
or bottom of
because
D.
I don't want Shiraj to like shank me.
No, you got to put it. Almace is like Almace is behind Rongomion.
Almace, Fufu, and
I'm gonna
Gandiva
fight you
actually
guys.
can be used.
You guys are out of control. See, this is what
I
happens
would, I would
when
put Gandiva bottom of C, frankly.
really
I
interesting.
actually rated it too high
Up in
when
a
I
C.
first done the assessment.
As a total aside, this has nothing to do with this conversation, but I just killed Lilith VD in 5 weapon skills.
That's pretty
Is
dope.
that a girl?
Good job.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of you.
How many
Thank you.
boxes have you gotten?
0. It's
You
0
haven't
for
got-
1 so far.
You haven't
0
gotten
for
Lilith
1.
box.
No.
Damn.
All right.
I watched Belner get his last night, and he was drunk, and he said,
Mhm.
"I'm not doing this anymore." And I said, "Just do one more." He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll do one more." And then after that, he said, "Okay, I'm done. I'm going to bed." I was like, "But you could try this weapon." He's like, "Okay, I'll do one more."
Mhm.
And that happened like 4 times, and then he got a box.
Hell
Nice. All right, so what is next?
yeah.
Armor?
Armageddon. Yeah, Armageddon is just as bad, maybe slightly more use case than Candiva right
Hmm.
now, but I'm
I would
not
say it's
convinced.
not that bad,
I
but
think it's
okay.
just as bad. What are you using Armageddon Dex?
I'm gonna put
Um,
a short poll up for this one, so guys be
Mhm.
ready because we just basically had this debate already.
I mean, I honestly think Wildfire has more use case than
Okay.
just news.
Yeah, Zerd is my use case for Wildfire. When else are we using it?
for Wildfire, not really. I mean, like, I switched to it in seg runs for like
Mhm.
undead,
You don't use
whereas I
Hot
would never
Shot?
do that. I would never do that with just news. It depends on which undead.
Okay. I was gonna say I normally just use Hot Shot for undead, but I'm happy to learn
Like
new
ghosts are
tactics.
about the same.
Okay.
Maybe better. Actually, Hotshot's better for ghosts.
Hmm.
It might be like the skeletons. Double Wildfire does just as fine. You always kill them with the skill chain.
Okay. And what else are we using Armageddon for besides like the wildfire factor?
Crit white hit.
For what?
I've used it for our body and core.
Really? And so my understanding is Fomalhaut's better for our body.
I think it
I would
is,
say
but I
Because
think
of the start, because of the TP bonus.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would say it's pretty similar.
it's pretty
yeah,
similar.
I think Formal Hunt might be better, but I think Armageddon could work just as well. Well, not just as well, but it could clear it comfortably as well.
I'm sure that you can, but I've never seen a Corsair with as little defense down that our body gets actually do good numbers in there with it.
Hmm.
I have seen a Corsair use detonator and last stand effectively with Fomal. I'm open to debate on this because I it's not like I play core a lot.
I feel like they're very similar weapons,
Okay.
but Wildfire is just a better weapon skill, and the weapon has 2 jobs on it versus the 1, which gives it more flexibility.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair in the context of rating it right now. That I think that's enough to put it on like C tier. Probably above the staff, maybe. What do you think?
I,
I'd
I
put
could
it
get
above
behind that.
Ukon,
You put
frankly.
it
I
above
would even.
Fukan?
I mean,
Okay.
I would even. I don't know. I would even argue to put it in B.
That's where I had it initially. Like, I would put the bow in the bottom of C because everything in D is like unusable, but the bow is like a fun toy, similar to the way Ukon's a fun toy,
Hmm.
similar to the way Redemption's a fun toy. But for Armageddon, like, I have used it on Core and Ranger,
Yeah.
and to good effect.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like I think that goes for all of these weapons. None of them are so bad that you can't decide, hey, I want to have some fun with white damage and like pull one of these out and just fuck around with. Um, but I
But I would
don't.
say doing that for that specific purpose, it
Yeah.
does better than everything in CT.
So you're saying B tier?
Bottom, it's worse than Farsha.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that one, buddy. I don't think it's I don't think it is used nearly as much as Bareth Ragnar Farsha. Because like when we think about Farsha, it does one thing better than all of the other like options that other axes have. At the very minimum, does one thing better, and that's magic damage. I don't
That's not
think.
why I put Farsha in that tier at all.
Okay, so I don't know. I maybe we'll just have to agree to disagree on this one.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But the magic damage aspect was like that was like an afterthought for me
Sure.
when I put Farsha in B.
Yeah, but that is a factor. It still does like one
But that's
thing
all if
better.
you want to talk about Armageddon,
Hmm.
just that's the same exact thing. Like it's a better white hit damage weapon than the things in C tier. And unlike Gandiva, it has a great magic weapon skill for specific situations. So it's kind of the same thing as Farsha.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah, I think
think?
that it kind of.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it is definitely like tied with Farsha. And
Hmm.
I would almost argue that it's better than Farsha because the practical uses for it. Like I could see more more practical uses for using Wildfire with Armageddon than I could see for using Cloud Splitter with Farsha.
Yeah.
So
And my biggest thing with Armageddon is I think it's more of a Corsair weapon than it is a Ranger weapon. Ranger
okay,
is good at doing fat damage. So you want
right.
guns that are going to do fat damage, but Core can lean into the magic more, leans into the agility more,
Mhm.
and can kind of stand back and just like do passive shit, unlike the Ranger who's dropping bombs.
Hear me out and tell me if this makes sense. When we give Barsha and Armageddon the same comparison to primes that we give to Twashtar,
Mm.
Barsha goes beyond what the prime axe can do, as opposed to Armageddon does not go beyond what the prime gun can do. Is that is that a fair statement?
I don't think so because
Okay.
Warrior isn't on the Primax.
Well, yeah, but that's why it goes beyond the. Maybe my logic is flawed there. I'm just curious.
I think Erp,
Mhm.
there really isn't any fight in the game where you're gonna get to maximize Erp because any fight in the game where you use Erp, you're gonna pull hate because he's
Right,
doing
right.
much bigger numbers. But in a theoretical scenario, like Erp will beat Armageddon because of the weapon skill damage.
Hmm.
But the white hits from Armageddon will do more than Erp.
Okay.
I did clear Arabati with Earp once, from like start of game
Right,
to all the way to finish.
Mhm.
It took about 4 attempts because
right.
obviously hit issues,
Okay.
but it's there's no real use case outside of maybe Master Trial.
Okay. That's fair. So I will give you that Armageddon maybe has more use than Gambantine. I think that's fair. I'd say
That's
like
fine.
split the difference between BC.
I feel like you're meeting me in the middle there at least.
Yeah. Like I'm
Yeah, I would float it right back and forth. It's like an between a 80 and a 79. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
right between on that border.
I'll even put it like low B. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
You've brought me around. So I'm interested in seeing the other perspective. Even though Corsairs aren't real people, they just exist to
Yeah,
roll.
true.
I
Yeah.
will allow the
Yeah, I think that's the biggest reason. Actually, maybe we move it down to D because if we're gonna make a Corsair argument,
Yeah,
like it
right.
doesn't augment or rolls in any way, which
Mhm.
is like why else would you bring a core?
That's a really good point.
yeah.
Highest accuracy for quick draws for light shot and dark shot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Findo made a good point with the ammunition from Arma is actually quite good, isn't it?
It is. It's the highest accuracy bullet.
Yeah. So I think this is a good.
But in the same vein, so is Gandiva's arrow, the highest accuracy, bar none.
Yeah, but chrono arrows are still like
Actually, is that even true? I think the
I
Yoichi one's better.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I remember looking up the other day, and they were kind of weird.
Mhm.
They didn't mirror each other like I thought they would.
Isn't that bio arrow like 20 agility or something, and then
That
20
doesn't
range
count.
attack?
That doesn't count.
Okay.
It's a single. It doesn't stack.
Oh shit, yeah.
Dude, I think
yes,
I think it's
arrows.
hilarious burning Bayou arrows on Ranger. I love it. Scavenging them
I
back.
do it so often.
Yeah. So moving on.
I was wrong. Artemis arrow is 25-35 attack,
Mhm.
whereas Yoichi's arrow is 35-25.
Wow.
So Yoichi's the best accuracy.
Dang.
So the that's an even better argument to put it higher tier than the bow.
Yeah.
The bow is not the best accuracy bullet or arrow,
Mhm.
whereas the gun is the best accuracy bullet.
Mhm. That's fair. I think we should go ahead and move on. I put Armageddon in B tier, as a compromise to Dex, but that also means I got to put Almace in A tier for Shiraj.
No,
So
I will give up my fight. I will give up my fight.
Dower Dabla is our next one. We're near the end. Dower Dabla.
I think we know where this belongs.
So I'm gonna kind of like not exactly play devil's advocate, but I have some weird thoughts about this. I'll just throw this out there and see where you guys take the conversation because I want to
Go
see
for it.
how you react. I think Twashtar is higher than Daredabla.
Yeah, I would agree.
Really?
With the same argument. No, I think I agree with the same argument we've used previously in that like uh Twashtar brings something unique in the long run.
Hmm.
And I think that Dardabla like you loses a lot of its entire purpose as soon as you prime stage 5.
Correct. So the only world in which I'll agree with that statement is if you say you can still use Twashtar after you get stage 5 in Pugandring, but once you get the stage 5 prime, the Dabla is now only used for like niche debuffs or buffs.
Yeah, I think if you say in a world without primes, Daredablo is better. In a
Yeah.
world where
Yeah.
stage 5 primes
Until
are accessible, then Twashtar is better.
I think in a
until
world
you
without prime,
have
go ahead.
I was just gonna say until you have a stage 5 prime horn,
Mhm.
this is the best Empyrean.
Oh yeah,
By
yeah,
far.
absolutely.
And
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Renornet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
And then and you're it's basically a requirement to getting a stage 5 prime horn. So
Yeah.
like in that case, like it's an absolutely necessary Empyrean.
Oh yeah.
That's why I
At
cannot
top of
remove it
S
from
class.
S, despite it being strongly, almost fully invalidated after getting the stage 5 prime. I
Mhm.
cannot remove it from S because of its necessity.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, I still think it's fantastic. I just kind of wanted to like throw that out there for the sake of
Mhm.
conversation and see where it went because
Yeah.
I do think it is necessary and I do think it is definitely a game changing thing. In fact, I would say that it
Mhm.
changes the job more than Twashtar does.
Yeah.
But Twashtar has better longevity.
I would say a large, if not the largest portion of the player base
Mhm.
will never get stage 5 horn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I think the only scenario or the only like caveat in which Twashtar passes this is that it is just simply that once you do graduate out of it at the 99th percentile, at the
Mhm.
very, very top, um, it becomes inventory -1. Like it loses its purpose outside of like maybe a couple
That's out of
songs where you
sleep,
benefit. Yeah.
like
It's
Yeah.
still
lullaby.
best.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wouldn't like if let's say you are the top 0.1% player that made a stage 5 horn, I wouldn't go out of my way to make this for a sleep macro. Personally.
If you already had the stage 5 horn?
Yeah.
No, you would never make it. You'd buy a
Yeah.
blurred heart +1.
Right. Yeah. But it's like that being said, it's phenomenal. It's obviously really, really good, top of the line. And like I said, most game changing Empyrean is probably the harp.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for the last one?
Yep.
O-Chain.
This is the one that has had the strongest shift from Prime's existence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just preface this. Pre-Prime, this is probably an S tier weapon. Maybe A tier?
I don't agree with that.
I think it at least belongs in A. Before
Pre-Prime,
Prime.
if primes don't exist at all, including the stage 2, I think
Yeah.
Pre-Win and Srivatsa are good enough to not make this an A or S tier.
I think it belongs in A. I think it's still like probably your best blocking weapon.
What do you think, Shiraj?
I think it depends because now are we talking about like endgame nowadays or endgame 5 years ago?
Not
I-
even 5, like 2.5, 3. Pre-Prime.
For Odyssey Jail, Crimin is king for the most part, or you
Mhm.
use Aegis.
Right.
Um, like I don't see I personally couldn't put O-Chain above B.
Really?
Even before primes, yeah.
Yeah. I think so I'm gonna make this comment and I hope it doesn't get taken too much out of context. But I always find it interesting that 100% or capping block rate was never discussed before O-Chain existed. And now that O-Chain exists and it's possible to cap block rate, that's all anybody can talk about. I don't think, or I think it gets blown up, and people start getting it into their head that if you don't block or have 100% block rate, you're just going to explode.
Right.
Which is just not the case, as you can see with people using Aegis for tons of fights and still taking a lot of physical damage. Like Kalunga is not just magic damage. There's still a lot of physical damage going out during that fight, and you survive just fine. I'm not saying capped block rate is bad. Like that's not the intention. I'm saying that I think it gets a little overhyped. It can be super useful sometimes, but you can survive pretty much everything in Odyssey that you don't need an Aegis for with Srivatsa just fine. That's my piece. I think
Yeah.
pre-win largely invalidated O-Chain.
I feel like no one felt that way until the Prime came out. That was
I
never the discussion 3 or 4 years ago.
really I never once put on an O-Chain even when I came back in 2019. I used Srivatsa pre-win or Aegis for everything, including our Odyssey plan.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like O-Chain had the high block rate meta, which, was good, but it was also like, and maybe this is just from my limited perspective, there was always like this selling point of like, oh, the MP generation is amazing for Paladin for maintaining buffs and heals and stuff like that. And I think that either people didn't fully like recognize how little effect that was having, or like as gear has scaled up to the point where paladins in most situations are taking 0 damage,
Mhm.
like you're not actually generating much MP from it anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, you never really got a lot of MP from it, but I still know some people to this day who have an MP swap set for some reason and have it, which seemed completely pointless to me.
One of the very first arguments I came back when I was reading the Paladin forums and trying to like catch up on like what was going on was O-Chain is pointless because you get hit for 0 and gain 0 MP, which is
Yeah,
what happens most
exactly.
of the time. And this was back in 2019, pre primes, pre everything. In fact, one of the best arguments that I had or that I heard was how much you can inflate shield skill, which like drastically increases the block rate for again Srivatsa and pre-win. But I don't know. O-Chain, I've had it since I don't know 2011, 2012. I thought it was really really cool. I wanted to use it when I came back and was kind of shocked that it wasn't too much of a thing. But
I have completely different experience. Like
Hmm.
every link shell I was in, the Paladins always touted O-Chain.
Mhm.
It was always you. No one spoke badly of it or suggested using pre-win over it.
Mm.
That's more of a modern take
Yeah, when
from
I
my
when I
experience.
came back, like when I was playing 5 or 6 years ago, I feel like O-Chain was still, it was actually like almost the opposite. Like everybody was like, "Oh, Servat's a joke. You need
Mm.
O-Chain and
Yeah,
Aegis."
me too.
That's
So
interesting.
that is honestly just because of like the same argument can be made with Duban. Like right now, how many times do I have to like correct people about comments about Duban?
Right.
No,
Where they're
like I'm
like,
not
oh,
saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying I'm not saying the people I was experienced with playing with were correct, but I'm saying that opinion was not mainstream,
oh yeah,
and
Mhm.
it was not. It was not.
and
No,
it was
yeah.
and it's more of a benefit of hindsight to say that that's how it was. You know
I
what I'm saying?
I don't think it was mainstream, but I've been using Srivatsa since we were in Bee's Knees running stuff and pre-win and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just
yeah. Go ahead.
so I was gonna say like look at how Duban is
Mhm.
glorified now, like with just simply with the block rate.
Right.
That is exactly how O-Chain was for many years.
Well, it's
And
just
even
it
though
took its
it's not the
place.
best option, yeah, even though it's not the best option, people still glorify it as if it is when it's just factually incorrect.
I would
Yeah.
say like then and now, people don't understand how shields work.
Right.
I agree.
I think actually it was funny because we recently got a comment on our Prime video where we were talking about Dubon, and somebody said that the rant I made about it was mostly incorrect, and that pre-win blocks less damage than Dubon, which I understand makes sense if you're basing it off of the BG Wiki shield page. So I think we should throw out there that there's a lot that's still not known about the game, and it's possible for BG Wiki to, I wouldn't say have incorrect information, but have information that is either out of date or like not correct on very, very niche things. So like the pre-win is special because it's a stage 3 shield, but it also has some sort of formula that Martel tested that increases the amount of damage it reduces based on its defense, is my understanding.
Hmm.
I'm sure Shiraj could
Isn't that
speak to
only
that
during
more.
reprisal, or no?
I'm not sure.
What Dex?
With pre-win, is his bonus reduction only during reprisal?
No, so reprisal only affects the block rate.
Mhm.
The damage reduction actually affects every single shield that is not a Rima.
Yeah. So
And
yeah, go ahead.
I
Sure.
can show I can pull up the DM and put it in the chat if you want to put it on screen just to show the DM between me and Martel. Because I had to like so this one person,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna name them, they were so adamant I was wrong about the whole Prim and Duban debate that I asked Martel, is this correct?
Yeah.
Made him answer it, and then I screenshotted Martel's answer and sent him it. It's like, if you're not going to listen to me, at least listen to the person who done all of the testing for Paladin.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
I think it's pretty generally accepted in the community that Martel has done a lot of good and reliable testing for Paladin specifically.
Yeah.
So but getting back to kind of the topic, pre
Of the tier list.
yeah, pre
If it was B tier, Dubon invalidated it, and Dubon is invalidating it at stage 2 for
yeah.
almost no Gallimore free whatsoever. Like, it's essentially free.
I think
Yeah.
because we've rated other Empyreans based on their primes existing, I think it's only fair we rate it based on primes existing for all.
Oh no,
Mhm.
like I would say that if O-Chain was B tier before the prime, it's now the worst Empyrean in the game after the prime.
100%.
Worse
Like,
than Kanagi.
Yes.
yes. Because at
Wow.
least on Kanaki, you can use it for Crystal Paradise.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's not a
Wha-
single use case I would want to use Orchain as a paladin. Not a
As
single
a
time.
bard with a Dour Dabla, when I get my
Mhm.
my stage 5 horn, I'm like, okay, I can still use Dour Dabla for
Yeah.
horn
Fair.
singing lullaby or whatever buffs for 20% duration.
Yeah.
With O-Chain, when you acquire the Dubin, you can
At
throw
stage
O-Chain
2.
on the garbage.
At
At
stage
stage
2, not
2,
stage
you can
5. Yeah.
throw
Right,
O-Chain on
yeah.
the floor. You're like, this is the I don't wanna play with you anymore Woody meme. Like, fuck
Mhm.
this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
RIP O-Chain. You were a real one.
Like I
You
was
had your
saying
time.
before, like, I know some really weird people that, like, kept the O-Chain
Mhm.
because I made a MP recovery block set. That's not real. Like, that's just
Yeah.
That,
copium.
Yeah, I
honestly,
go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say that is like as Dex said, that's the biggest copium and like terrible excuse for anything.
Mhm.
Like if you think making an MP recovery set on Paladin is a good idea, just quit playing tank.
Use
Like
fucking
genuinely.
chivalry. Like it's not hard.
Like for MP, since most of Paladin's MP like damage to MP stuff requires you to block, you're taking 0 damage. And
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
if you're wanting to take damage, that means you need to take phalanx off. And if you take phalanx off, you're gonna get chunked if you're
Hey,
tanking
it's
multiple
kinda like
enemies at the same time.
converting, right? It's kinda like converting. You sack all your defense, you take a ton of damage, you get your MP back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
Great idea.
you have to take so much damage to get your MP back, but then you're gonna use that MP to cure yourself because you're taking so much damage. It's so counterintuitive.
Sound math to me. The math checks out.
Mhm.
Like
Mount
if you're using that,
I will
just
say
don't play
though,
tank.
like Mounty Dan does make a really good point in that the lock style's not bad. Pretty on point for
The lock
Paladin.
style's fire.
I
I'm
like
pretty sure I
Dubon
lost that
better.
lot.
I like the Black Aegis better, to be honest.
Mm.
I like
I,
Aegis better. I like it to wink at me.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I rock O-Chain paired with the 5 out of 5 Empyrean set for Sorty.
There you go.
It's ugly.
Well, yeah,
Also,
but then
you're a
you can hit
Taro,
the F objective or whatever.
Yeah, I always lock style Empyrean because of
Yeah.
Sorty.
you're a Taro, so nothing really like is visible on you, so it doesn't matter what you're wearing.
That's true.
If
I
you were a Galka, you'd probably not use O-Chain because you'd rather have something cooler.
Yeah, I'm
True
gonna
that.
I'm gonna point out real quick that like I know people are gonna come after me for saying O-Chain wasn't even good before primes, but like also remember that I went out of my way to make it, and like I wasn't happy that it wasn't good. It just
No,
it just wasn't very good.
my pushback is not that you were wrong. It's that the general consensus of the community was not caught up with reality.
Yeah,
It never is. Like, it
yeah,
genuinely never is. Like, this is why I say the average player on this game does not know anything.
right.
And look at Final Fantasy Auction House. You know, that website has so much misinformation because of idiots
Yeah,
that
I learned a
they
lot about
regurgitate that
Paladin.
information.
I learned a lot about Paladin from the Fox Danger actually when he was doing WTF and Vanadil. He had a lot of really, really good information that I did not know about while I was learning Paladin and trying to come back. So I will give credit where that is due about that
Where
kind
can
of
you
stuff.
where can you watch that episode?
Um,
I believe it got
I
taken down.
yeah. Let's not go into that. But I mean I think it's fair to credit people for valid and good information.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'm not
I'm just
gonna
being an asshole
yeah
because they took all the episodes down, which I'm pretty petty
Yeah,
about.
like the
right.
problem with stuff like the Shield is people refer to the wiki as if the wiki is like the holy grail. It has every single answer.
Yeah.
The wiki's not even updated properly.
It kind of goes
Yeah.
back to people giving information and like not being correct about the stuff that they're putting out. Like we all do
Yeah,
it.
it's like
We've all done it.
I don't want to update the wiki. Like
Mhm.
I don't care enough for that website. I don't use it that often. Like
Yeah. So let's take a quick look before we start wrapping up here back at the tier list. On S tier, in the number one slot, everybody give a big round of applause to Twashtar.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
let's go.
I knew I thought I was gonna cause more waves than I did with that, to be
I
honest.
heard
I thought you guys
Almace.
would fight me
Chat,
more.
chat was getting pretty heated like later when there was the people that came in after we talked about
Yeah.
it that were like, "What the fuck did you guys do? Why did you do that?"
Yeah, I'm up for hearing more people's opinion on that because it
Honestly, I don't
entirely.
rate Twash all that. I don't rate Twash as high as you guys.
I know, but we generally don't listen to you anyway, Shrosh. Let's call Martel. Let's call Martel and
No,
ask him.
nobody does anyway. It's fine.
No, I'm just kidding, buddy.
Where would you have put it if you were more assertive?
Mhm.
I honestly have it at the top of A.
Okay.
Maybe second top of A. But like
But,
it's
but
either tied with Masamune or
Mm.
above Masamune.
so let me
Mm.
ask you this: if you're doing that, it's still the best weapon or tied. And
Yeah.
are you keeping Dour Dabla in S, or are you bumping it so that there's no Empyrean in S?
For me, the only S is the harp.
I think it
So I
depends on
had
the
that
lens
same
that you look at
opinion.
it.
I had that same opinion, and through the conversation, I've kind of agreed more towards Myth's perspective in that the use case that the Prime invalidates, like the dagger gets better because it still has a use case, whereas the harp gets worse because it loses its use case.
Mm.
Yeah, but the same argument can be said about the harp though. Like it still has a use case with sleeps, right? And like, let's be honest, how many
But it's a
times have you swapped to Twashtar since getting a stage 5 dagger?
We do it every sortie run.
every day.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
We use it on our dancer every day for darkness skill chains to open cartel.
I still believe you would cap damage without Twashtar. That's the
Probably.
thing.
Probably. I think it says more about Rudras than it does about Twashtar.
Yeah.
But I'm still correct. No, oh man. Yeah, no,
I still think it's lower than the harp. I would put it like A plus or S minus.
I think it entirely depends on the lens you're looking at it through, and I'm completely
Yours rose
fine.
tinted?
Huh?
You made a lens comparison. I said, "Are yours rose tinted?"
Well, I did just go to the optometrist. Um, and how
Oh, so
and
he's seeing clearly, or his
yeah.
eyes are still dilated. We don't
Is the
know.
rain
We
gone?
haven't-
Yeah, I did get a new prescription, so it might be
I
skewed
hope the
here.
rain's gone so you can see clearly
Yo,
now.
same
Oh
myth. I'm
man.
picking my glasses up on. I don't even know, bro. Whenever the 14th is,
Oh no.
Yeah, did you get LASIK, dude? Because where the fuck are your glasses?
bro. I haven't worn them for months.
No.
Hmm.
I think
I
yeah, go ahead.
I got a malignance box on my 4th kill.
Oh wow, congrats. Very impressive.
Yeah.
The drop rate has seemed very high.
Yeah. They
Anecdotally.
came out and said that they didn't change the drop rates, but I just think the drop rates compared to what was like happening of the RNG in the inventory
Yeah.
has affected it so much.
You know what's fucked up about that? Like, if the drop rate isn't changed, indeed, like they're saying,
Mhm.
then that means that so often you are getting a duplicate piece and you just weren't knowing it.
I mean,
Oh yeah, all the time.
I've heard a few people go beyond 50 kills without getting a box.
Yeah, I
Like,
have as well.
I think that there's
Talking about
good
that
luck and bad luck. I think I probably
yeah,
just had some really good luck just now,
Mm-hmm.
but I've also done like, 3 sets of merits just burning Lilith on VD on repeat and not seen a drop before. So I
Right.
think that like, it still sucks, but I think it's better because of the RNG nature of it before, where like
yeah.
you would get gloves, but everybody had gloves, so it just went to the void.
Was it you, Heg, earlier that said, I think if you're closer to finishing your set, it benefits you more? Was that
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, that's just common sense, right? Like if you're missing one piece before this
Yeah.
update, 4 out of the 5 drops would just go to the void and you would get
Yeah.
fucked. So
Yeah, I think
now
it's
Getting
a
your
nice change.
now
getting your
getting one out,
first
yeah,
yeah, getting your first Lilith drop is still going to feel exactly the same. Getting your 5th Lilith drop is going to be exponentially better.
because now any of the 5 dropping is still a box, which means
Yeah.
any of the 5 is finishing you off.
In before Malignant Sword.
You
And you know
can't
how I love
talk like
getting
that.
finished off.
You can't talk about getting finished off by Lilith like that with hash brown in
You
the
know how
chat.
much I love that.
Oh man. Okay, I think this is a fantastic time to wrap this up. Boys,
Oh, that's great.
thank you for coming and hanging out with me today. I've had a great time with this episode.
When
Um,
is the Final Fantasy 11 waifu tier list?
oh yeah, we can't do that because there's too many problematic things in the waifus. Uh, have you seen people talk about Prish in this community? It's not gonna never gonna
If you
happen.
bring up like
Yeah.
heroines in any way, like
Yeah, it's just never
one
gonna
half of
happen.
the conversation is like they're supposed to be children.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're done here.
I know nothing about the lore. I don't know anything about the rages. I just know that it would be funny as fuck to like cause controversy because I'm a troll and I like it.
We'll do that right after we do the Mog House furniture episode. How's that?
No,
Okay.
Lion
yeah.
So
Esther, right?
once you've like established your household, you can then acquire a waifu, is what you're saying.
That's right. That
I
is
still need to
right.
have a dummy mommy tier list,
Oh
like
my
Lilith
god.
on S plus tier.
Perpetuating gender
She can,
stereotype
no,
roles. Cancel this man.
Jesus. Oh my god.
she can put a collar on me. I'll bark. I'll get on my knees. She can spit it in my mouth.
Oh,
Whatever she needs.
what the fuck is happening? All right. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off before it goes off the rails more. Thanks guys.